Welcome to the second round of the 2015 UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Series. I'm Pete Deluski. We're joined by Mike Day today.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, excited to be here.
So we're going to give you all of the action of today's qualification rounds for the elite men and the elite women. We're going to kick things off with these elite women, and then later on in the program, we will have the Superfinal time trials. As you can see, the track, the weather conditions, typical here for Papendal. There's no rain, which is kind of nice for the moment. Wind, 31K. Temperature, 16. It's about 62 degrees. Cloudy. That could be a permanent note on the weather here, and Mike can attest to that.
Yeah, it was pretty bummer for these guys. I mean, yesterday's practice was perfect and warm. You actually could wear shorts here for the first time ever. But woke up today and it's freezing and windy and almost feel bad for the guys. I mean, they're getting blown all over the place during practice, so could make for some interesting qualifying motos in the second, third straights. It seemed like some of these guys were having pretty big issues, so we'll see how that goes.
So the track here in Papendal is pretty interesting. It's a really big, wide open, fast track. Technicality level's a little bit less than Manchester, but Mike, talk us through the track.
Yeah, you come down. The first jump's a little different than the screen. It's an actual triple, and triple into the first corner. You go through the first turn, and the old the London crossover jump, and then into the big rhythm section. I mean, walking it's massive. It's big difference from what these guys raced a few weeks ago in Manchester, and then into the last straightaway rhythm and to the finish line.
So there you get a view of what it's like from the animation, but what the fans want to see, Mike, they want to see riders on course, and what we will have up next is the GoPro course preview with Barry Nobles. Mike, once again, give us the play-by-play of what Barry's got as he gets down the track here in Papendal.
So you'll see Barry coming down. I think he's talking a little bit in the background, but you'll see that triple. I guess they built that to get ready for Worlds last year, but little different. Some guys are jumping, some guys are jump manualing into this big corner, and you'll see the turns here are just massive. So you'll see a lot of guys taking different lines in the corners, a lot of room to pass. The crossover jump into this real big step up that leads you into the rhythm. And I think this has to be one of the fastest straightaways in any Supercross track. It's a big rhythm, it's deep, jumps are tall and steep, and it's kind of, I mean, it looks scary just being a fan now, but coming into the quick little tech rhythm section up to the finish line.
So yeah, that was Barry Nobles taking a lap here yesterday, GoPro mounted, but now we're going to get down to the real riders on the track, 8 at a time versus Barry by himself, as we kick things off with the elite women's qualification rounds. 7 motos for the elite women. Their start list: number 1, Laetitia Le Courgel, Tarcheskenke, Reno, Carr, Portier, Alou, and Etne. First moto, Mike, a lot of French riders in here. They've always been strong in this women's class, and it's great to see Le Courgel come back. But unfortunately, her big comeback looks to be postponed because she says DNS on the start. But here we go with the first moto, Heat 1 for the elite women qualifications. So as we get down, it's going to be Portier, who's looking good, and Amanda Carr is going to be in the inside of her as those girls go into turn number 1. A little bit of a bonk there, and you have Shailene Reno trying to make her way up there as well. But as they come around the second turn, it looks like a good pack here for these elite women, Mike.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, the turns are just so wide open. You could see Shailene came in third, and the berms are kind of deceiving because it's just so wide open that you could tell she went super inside line. So good lap for Shailene.
So there's a lot of passing opportunities on this track compared to what we had to deal with in Manchester, and we expect to see that. Remember in the main last year, Sam Willoughby stalked down Toine Van Gant all the way around the track, made that last turn move to take the win in the rain. So now with dry conditions, these big berms lend for a lot of great racing, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, totally night and day difference to Manchester, where it's just such a kind of a tight indoor go-kart track. That's kind of what you see, but here, I mean, it's super wide open.
So we'll get ready with heat number 2. Van Hess, Rojas, Carrera, Halakova, Hill, Smulders, and Thibaut. Those are the women loaded in the gate. They're ready for BMX, not Mario Kart, but I'd like to see a Mario Kart race.
Well,
around here
just
on the
compare.
Papendal
I
track.
mean, it's the difference between the two is huge. So I mean, a lot more chances for the good pack riders to make a you know a finals appearance here.
So here we go with the gate drop from the inside. Looks like it's going to be Hill from New Zealand that had the lead at the kink, bottom of the ramp. But bottom of the ramp and the kink don't mean much. It's all about what happens in the first turn. And that's going to be Halakova from the Czech Republic with the early lead. And then you're going to have second place all up on her business as they come into turn 2. So come down that third straightaway. Mike, this third straightaway is pretty technical for the speed that the men and the women can carry through it.
Yeah, not only that, it's so windy out there. You could tell they're kind of taking it somewhat safe right now and trying to stay on the ground. I mean, you'll see later in the guys' rounds, I mean, we were watching practice earlier, and some of the littler guys, they were getting tossed all over the place in the wind. So girls playing it safe, just kind of pumping through.
So this track, as you said, as you alluded to with Manchester, a lot of differences, but still you have to be precise, especially down that third straightaway, to carry the speed in, to be able to make those moves in that last turn.
Yeah, and you kind of got to be able to let your bike kind of dance around in the wind. I mean, I watched Barry in practice earlier. He was getting tossed left and right about 3 to 4 feet. So I think whoever is just a bit more comfortable and kind of can let the bike dance around is going to have the best chance here.
All right, here we go with heat number 3 in the first round of motos for the elite women. Diaz, Mira, Deller, Green, Smulders, Bonarenko, and Shaves are your women on track. Looks like it's going to be Diaz from Argentina with the early lead. She's been a staple of the Supercross series. We've been here for 5 years. I know she's been here each and every year. Her younger sister races as well. And right now, she's going to be looking really good down that second straightaway. So talking about the wind, Mike, the thing with the wind here, I know it gets windy. You're used to riding in Chula Vista, so we can use that as an example. But the wind in Chula Vista is typically the same direction.
Yeah.
Here, the wind kind of swirls around in this area where the track's built.
Yeah, you can kind of, I mean, there's Tioga and GoPro and Cliff Bar flags all the way around the track, and just watching them, they're never going in the same direction, so it never gives these guys very, good feeling going into the rhythm section when you're getting blown each way. So I think you kind of got to just be a bit confident and just kind of almost hope for the best, because it's also, I mean, it seems like a constant win, but every once in a while you'll get those big gusts that took a couple guys out in practice.
So get ready for Heat 4 in the elite women. It's going to be Springers, Carnival, Brugge, Christensen, Price, and Jones. You'll see the top 16 women, or actually the top 8 women, are already pre-qualified for tonight's Superfinal time trials, top 16 in the elite men. So the rest of these riders are all fighting out for those remaining positions, and it's a pretty stacked field in both the elite men and the elite women. I think this is the largest Supercross to date of the amount of riders that have signed up. So Christensen from Denmark definitely had a great year last year, breakthrough at the World Championships with a 4th place finish. Right now she's out there with a little bit of her lead over Pries from Germany, and Carnival from Brazil, also another one of those riders that's been strong out there on the circuit, consistently making her way to the Supercross events. And the level and the progression of the Supercross, the skills for the elite women has really risen up in the last few years, hasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see. I mean, obviously I was kind of around at the start of Supercross, and just watching how well the girls ride now, it's night and day difference. And I mean, it has a lot to do with, we're getting Supercross tracks around the world, and then the level of the tracks have just kind of progressed, and their skills has just come along pretty far.
So next up will be heat number 5. It's going to be Lauren Reynolds, Felicia Stansel, Taylor, Kolorubi, Michelin from Canada, and Admika from Russia. Again, you see some big names in these early qualification rounds, and it's all based off of results from Manchester. Those top 8 women are pre-qualified, so anyone 9th and behind has to go through the race. So is it an advantage? I don't know. When you were a consistent guy on the Supercross track, you always just did time trials, so it wasn't necessarily, you didn't have to qualify. You had to qualify your way in through the time trial, but would you rather have this where you're able to go out there and really get this extra time out on the track?
I mean, it's kind of nerve-wracking, I would think. I mean, it looks like there's 154 guys. Oh, Felicia over jumping into turn 1 with a little bit tailwind, but I mean, you're only qualifying 48 guys out of 38 I think are signed up. So I mean, you would think total points, you got to get 9 or 10 points. That means top 3 each lap. So there's little room for error now. So
And you can see in this lap right here, we have two of the big names in that elite women's class. Felicia Stansel taking the win, Lauren Reynolds in second. A little bit of a crash down that third straightaway, but we'll see as the girls come across the line. Looks like Abby Taylor from Great Britain will take that fourth place spot. But unfortunately, and that's the hardest thing too, Mike. You could do a whole lap full out and then have a crash in that last turn, last straightaway. It's definitely not the way you want to start your day off.
yeah, and then you got high points. You're stressing the next two. You got to get top two finishes to move on. And a lot of these a lot of these people are crashing. Not even, it's not their fault. They're getting the wind's kind of acting different. It's swirling around here. It's like a wind tunnel down here.
But same way, getting caught up in somebody else's crash is definitely not like I said, definitely not a way you want to be end any lap, but especially first lap of qualifications on the first day.
Yeah, on the last straightaway.
So two more heats of the elite women, then we'll move on to the 18, I believe, heats of elite men. A lot of, like as Mike alluded to, a lot of elite men here.
Looking at a couple of those motos, I mean, they could definitely be a moto for tomorrow. I mean, some heavy hitters in the motos.
Yeah, 18. There's 18 motos for the elite men. Scrambled, 3 different runs, a lot of opportunity to get out there, get the time on the track in race conditions, but also those 3 laps puts you out front for danger at any given time. So you can see the riders, you can see that banner on top of the hill, how the wind is pretty, gusting here on and off. But down the first straightaway, if you have a tailwind, it's not that bad, or
ahead.
So which way, it's more of the side wind that you have to really adjust for, or is it, anything?
Yeah, a headwind on the front straightaway, I was never particularly fond of that.
Well,
but
it's good to build your, leg speed up.
Yeah, but look at you see the flags. It's a left to right here, so.
So it helps you down the last straightaway, pushes you to the line. Big wave BMX. Here we go with heat number 6 for the elite women. Down the gate, it's going to be Seiko from Japan with that good gate start, but coming into turn 1, it's going to be a good battle from these top 3 women, and it's like a lot of riders you see from the Czech Republic, Russia, and Japan now as well have really made a breakthrough in the women's class in some of these early qualification rounds. It's interesting to see the buildup of these riders from all around the world. So coming down that third straightaway from right here, so you got all this international flavor. You got a girl right there from the Netherlands out there in the lead. That's going to be Hussman. She looks like she's got this track wired, had some time on it. So she's going to take the win here in heat number 6 for their first run. It's going to be Hussman, then Labakova from the Czech, Seiko from Japan. Backs up that good start with that third place finish overall, and then the Russian Kaptanova gets the fourth place finish. So next up is the last of the elite women's first round of qualification motos. You're going to see Gonzalez, O'Keefe, Diaz, Van Hoof, Dudas, and Shamina. These are going to be the stars of the future, Mike. Are you ready, Mike? I'm going to let you call this one down the first straightaway.
Got it.
When you rode here, we love to have ex-riders. I'm not saying you're retired, but you're not riding today. But we love to have the insight of what it's like to go down that first straightaway when you're really battling against 7 other riders. If you don't get the best of starts, how difficult is it to really go out there and try to, coordinate your way around the track whether you have other people flying around just beside you?
Well, like we were talking earlier, Manchester's difficult because it's such a small area and not a lot of time. But here, I think this track plays into the favor of the guys that can carry good track speed and make good racing decisions, where good lines in the corners and good exit speed. And I think it's a perfect track for someone that doesn't get a hole shot to still, squeak into the final or make a couple passes to get on the podium for the first time.
Yeah, so you see Gonzalez from Ecuador just edges out Van Hoof from Belgium. Van Hoof's had some impressive runs recently in the Euro Series, getting a bunch of second-place finishes. So she's definitely a strong finisher. And speaking of things, we finished up with the elite women's qualifying rounds. We'll move over to the elite men. We have Garcia, Schottman, Slots, Predigu, Herman, and Linegard. Few names, big names in these early rounds of motos, but it's definitely going to, like Mike said, each and every one of these could be one of the 8th finals for
Yeah.
tomorrow. But right now, these guys are just trying to make their way into the show for tomorrow, and we'll see how
Yeah.
things go out.
Young gun Ryan Pettigrew had a bit of a crash earlier. He seemed like his ankle was kind of twisted, so I'm surprised to see him up there.
But this is Supercross World Cup racing, Mike. You will get on the gate. And there you see, he's in the middle with that neon yellow jersey. But right now it's all about David Herman from the United States of America. Past Olympian. It's his birthday today as well. And there's his birthday present to himself. A whole shot in Moto number 1. You're going to have Garcia in that 3rd place spot trying to jump all the way down that 2nd straightaway. But right now it's going to be David Herman with a decisive leap going in turn number 2 up that lovely part of the track into the S-turn leading into the biggest straightaway here in Papendal.
Yeah, talking to Herman a little bit earlier, he seemed like he wasn't really. He said he just didn't have a good practice session, so it was pretty good to see him obviously pull a whole shot, but that's what he's known for. So hopefully he can smooth it out and hit some landings tomorrow and maybe get in that final.
Yeah, so it'll be Herman, Viera, Garcia, and Schottman for your top 4. Pettigrew with that injured ankle comes back for a solid 5th place. Not the best of results, but definitely, not that far off where he's going to have to worry that much about trying to get through the program. But we'll see. He is in a tough moto this time, but they are scrambled. So we'll get ready for heat number 2, and you see some of the names on the screen. Resende will pop out. Resende 500. He's a GoPro social media master. Right now he's in the gate just from the center looking to get out there in an early lead. But we'll see how things turn out as we get ready for the gate drop here in heat number 2. The start is always important, but this is maybe the one track, Mike, would you say, that it's not as important to be winning in that first turn because there are a lot of opportunities to pass here?
I mean, obviously you want to be, the race is 10 times easier if you're in the front, but definitely a place where if you don't get the perfect start, it's not one to worry about as much as, say, Manchester. So obviously still a crucial part of the track, but definitely workable here.
Yeah, so you have Renato Resende with the lead, Van der Huygen in that 2nd place, then Anderson in 3rd. Right now, those guys are going to battle a good 2nd and 3rd place finished race. Then the track, the rest of the pack's a little bit spread out, but Resende definitely looks strong in that lap there. He's one of your new teammates, isn't he?
Yeah. His Instagram is pretty impressive too. If you guys had some downtime to watch some of his stuff, he's got some crazy skills on his bike.
So we'll get next to heat number 3, a name that you'll know, a couple names in here you'll know. Mike Ivo Vanderputten, Amelia Falla, Thurkinson, Duchenne, Gearing, Molina, and Klashenko.
Is this
pretty stacked moto here for one of the early
Is this his
runs.
only race of the year that he does now?
So far, I believe. I don't think he was in Manchester, but.
No, I think this is the only one he does. I mean, only World Cup he did last year as well.
So we'll see how things go out for him. He's lined up in gate number 1, 666, Evil Evo. We'll see how things go as we wait for the gate to drop here in Papendal. So the gate's down. It looks like Amelia Fallow's got a good gate, and he's going to be battling Evo down that hill. And then from the middle, it looks like the Russian really got himself a good lead going. Just a little bit of an edge out in turn number 1. So that part of the track, Mike, that crossover jump, it's one of the sections that a lot of people have a big love-hate relationship with because it really sets you up kind of funky going into that uphill and then to that turn that leads you in the 3rd straightaway.
Yeah, and it's the wind on the 2nd straightaway is what most of the guys were talking about earlier, and then all of a sudden you go into the crossover and it's a side wind and the jump doesn't seem to really flow, and everyone was talking how it was kind of throwing them differently every time. So, I mean, that's just kind of one of the parts of the track that's giving these guys the most trouble.
So it'll be Evo coming in that 2nd place spot just behind Amelia Falla. Definitely a good run for those guys. So we'll get ready for heat number 4. Palmer, Chappelle, Godet, Combs, Schipper, Blanc, and Carnival. Again, some new names, some old names. Any guys that you recognize, Mike? Because I know you spent a lot of time on the Supercross track, but you were always out front, so you didn't really see a lot of those guys.
Yeah, that was not the case.
So the gate is down, and we'll see where the power comes from. Right now, it looks like it's going to be from the center or to the right of the track. Blanc from Switzerland, definitely a good starter, but coming on the inside, it's going to be the Canadian of Palmer giving him a good run, and he takes the lead over Blanc. Where's the ideal spot you want to be? Because it looks like this is a position where you're kind of vulnerable for some kind of inside move going into that third straightaway.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of these guys are using the crossover as more of a hip jump, where you'll see some of the top guys, they kind of jump it straight. You don't want to hip out to the outside because it leaves the inside so open. You'll see a lot of the guys in the time trial taking advantage of that.
So Blanc takes the win. Palmer, a good second place. Godet in there for third. Godet is definitely one of those consistent riders from France that's always out there, always making moves. And he was in a lot of main events, and we'll see how things work out for him in the program later today. So next up we have heat number 5, Upshaw,
Oof.
Nobles, Posey, Strongberg,
Jeez.
Racine, Isidore, and Van der Weer. Again, another moto stacked, but every moto with that number 81 in there, that's just I think guys sometimes get up in there and go, okay, well, I'm going to be good for a second place. Where you talk to Maris, he thinks everybody's just as tough as any rider next to him. I mean, anyone can have a great run, but Maris has been quite exceptional on this track, especially in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, he was practicing from lane 7 and 8 all morning, so I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the main and picks 8 for that.
Double dice promo. Right now he comes out of lane number 5 and he looks definitely impressive. Justin Posey's on the inside of him. Those two are going to battle all the way down, but it's good to see Maris. He had a really big crash. He had a really bad crash in Manchester going in that quarterfinal, landed on his back, ran over, but right now he's running over the competition as he jumps out to an early lead. He's going to have Justin Posey in that second place spot. And I think it was Barry Nobles that went down in turn 1.
Yeah, slow to get up, still down.
So we'll get through here with Maris taking the decisive win here. And have Posey a little bit of troubles in that last turn. So it's going to be Posey, Racine from France. It's going to take that second place. Isidore from Great Britain, who had a good run there in Manchester as well. Definitely a better run here. I think he had 3 crashes in Manchester. Definitely not the way you want to start it. And good to see Barry get back up after it looks like he ran into the back of someone going into turn number 1. So it's definitely not the way you want to start off a moto with crashing anywhere, but going into that first turn full speed and basically going shoulder into asphalt turns is definitely not the way you want to do things. So we'll get to heat 6 here. See the riders getting ready, lined up on the gate, getting ready for their chance to take on the track here in Papendal. So that race, when the added pressure, like you said, Mike, you really want to have a limited amount of points kind of going into one of these races, but when you do bad in that first round, how much extra pressure do you put on yourself to knowing you really have to go out now and really kind of get a first or second in the rest of the remaining motos?
Yeah, well, there are 7 guys in that last run, so Barry's coming right across the finish line now with 7 points. So they were saying pretty much you're going to need 10 points or less. So he's got to get first or second these next 2, and yeah, he looks pretty frustrated. But I mean, you can't have any more errors. I mean, you're definitely a bit. I mean, he's stressing right now. I know that for sure.
So here we go. We're going to have 5 riders in this row. 2 riders did not start. But right now it's going to be like the Danish rider of Laustin with that early lead going in there. And he's going to definitely be battling it out with Bensik. Bensik definitely knows this track really well. But these 2 riders out in front really going to have a good run here. When you get these riders, these up-and-coming riders are really coming through on the skill levels. And you can see right here, Bensik trying to utilize that turn going into the third straightaway, trying to make a pass. They have a good battle going down that third straightaway. So talk about what kind of moves you can and can't make. And you can see right there, a perfect high-low. Every rider learns that in a clinic, but you got to finish through with it. And it looks like Bensik was able to do that with that lunge at the line right over Laustin just for that first-place finish.
Yeah, pretty impressive seeing all the young guys starting to come up. I mean, obviously, if he's got an orange jersey, he's going to know every inch of this track. So pretty cool to see him actually kind of coming through and making that pass.
So here we go with Heat 7, Yoshimura, Jaspers, Messner, Riccardi brothers, Bindelas, Corbin Schara, and Vander Hudding is a DNS. Again, a stacked moto. 7 riders will actually make their way. Vander Hudding from the Netherlands is not racing. Pulled out. Got scared because he saw Bendelas. Bendelas is one of those riders. It's going to be interesting to see. I think this is the first Supercross he's done outside of the U.S., and he's definitely been a hot amateur before, and we'll see how things. He's in there in gate 7 right next to Corbin Schirra. But Corbin Schirra is definitely the master of powering down the gate, the hill, the first straightaway, and getting over these jumps with finesse. And you see him right now going to turn number 1 with the lead over Jaspers.
Yeah, watching Corbin has always been it's been fun. I mean, he looks so effortless when he rides. I mean, where everyone else is pedaling in the air, Corbin's kind of using more of his body weight and pumping. But yep, Netherlands local.
Jaspers puts that dive bomb move on Corbin. Probably, when you're out front in one of these motos, you definitely want to stay top 2. But when you're from the home country, you have that extra pressure if you happen to go out there and win. And that's what Jaspers does. Puts that move on Schirra. Schirra's happy, I'm sure, to get a top 2, but definitely didn't appreciate that line. He'll know not to do that next time. But that's where we see a lot of moves made on this track here in Papendal in that big second turn for the elite men. So we'll get ready for qualifier heat number 8. Vandenberg, Sierra, Thabot, Mahue, Berra, and Meyer. Those are your 8 riders getting ready to show up for heat number 8. So the gate drops, and coming out of lane 8, it's going to be Romain Mahue from France, looking to be pretty impressive. Dumont from Switzerland also out there, and then the Brazilian in the middle looks like he's definitely got a good run going. That's going to be Valiu, and then you're going to have Romain Mahue in that second place spot. And these guys are coming to that part of the track where we have seen a lot of moves made, but definitely the Brazilian team's definitely been one to step it up. But you have French riders, you have a rhythm section, you never know what can happen because those are some of the smoothest riders out there on the track. So coming down that third straightaway, those guys look a little bit of follow the leader, but it's definitely, a great accomplishment to get first and second. So it will be Villeneuve from Brazil, Mahue from France, Dumont from Switzerland, and Vandenberg will have a photo finish. But definitely just an efficient way to get around the track. No big upsets this time. But here we go with these riders as they come getting through the rest of the track. So a lot of young riders, as you can see, a lot of big names. Have already pre-qualified through, as you'll see those 16 top riders later on in those superfinals. But you can see right here, you have Carlos Ramirez, who's probably the standout, and Duche are the 2 names that you may recognize, as well as Harmanson from right here in the Netherlands. And you're going to have Nervaka from the Czech. Those riders lined up on the gate here. So Matt Cameron, the national champion of New Zealand, gets himself the good start, early lead, but right in the end, Harmanson from the Netherlands, the local, gets out in front, and he's going to take those guys up that S-turn hip jump into turn number 2, uphill, big step jump, and then again lining up for this big third straightaway. And if Mike was paying attention, he would tell you how these guys really get through the third straightaway. A little bit different, couple different lines you can take, but from your experience, what's the fastest way to get through that third straightaway?
Well, it was a little different than when we raced, but it looks like everyone just kind of, you actually double in, pump 1, and then there's a peaky double towards the end and to finish with 4 rollers. But kind of single file now. Back in the day, we used to be able to kind of do 2 different lines through there, but they built it up a little bit, steepened everything up, and it's kind of just a section you kind of want to play safe and just go 2 through now.
So next up, we have a good mix here of riders: Moore, Warnier, Caron, Gain, Christensen, Reed, Blumen, and Freiswick. Freiswick definitely one of those fast Australian riders, but you have someone like Sean Gain, past junior world champion, all lined up in the gate. We'll see how things work out for these riders, and as well as Christensen's definitely been one of the riders to be able to turn it on, and then Reed from Canada. So we'll see how things go out. So it's going to be, looks like Sean Gain gets himself a good lap going into turn number 1 on the outside. The Australians out there, but right now it's going to be Sean Gain and then Freiswick in that second place spot. So again, when you're in this position here, Mike, in second, where would you go to try to really get the advantage going into this turn?
I always kind of played it to where, just like he did, I kind of wait always till the rhythm section as he kind of blew by Sean there. But in Manchester, you had to be so quick to make a pass whenever there was opportunity. Here, where you can kind of set it up as he did, just made sure he was in a good position to exit into the rhythm with as much speed as possible, where he just kind of flew by Sean there. But Sean coming back from injury last year, so it's good to see him already starting to make some hole shots in these motos.
Yeah, Corey Freiswick won that Australian National Elite Men's Championship last week in a hectic kind of, he was in the position of Sam Willoughby and Anthony Dean were out front. They both crashed. Corey went around, but definitely being that fast rider, used that momentum, carrying in, got that win over Sean Gaines. So we'll get ready for the next heat. It'll be Tangier, Marino, Kronk, Darnard, Lagarde, Correa, Brethauer, and Kadyshev are your riders in heat number 11. So from the inside, it's going to be Ramiro Marino from Argentina. Out front with Brethauer from Germany in that second place spot. And then you have the Colombian in third. Definitely a good mix of riding. And then you have that Russian rider as well. He's definitely strong. And that's a new line over there for the hip jump.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that was the best one, but with it being so windy, you can kind of double onto the girl side, I guess they were saying, and kind of pump into the uphill turn. So a little different, but Romero Marino looks pretty strong today.
So yeah, it'll be Marino with the win. Brethauer in second, Lagarde in that third place spot, Tangier from Sweden, Swissy, for fourth. Getting ready for heat number 12.
I can't believe they're cutting this many guys.
Fans demand it. Nagasako, Rancule, Link, Tehiko, Waktai, Dos Res, Dumain, and Komarov. Those are your riders here in heat 12. Nagasako, definitely known for some aggressive riding, but that's what you really need to turn it up to be able to get out of these qualification rounds. Even if you're in a second place position, sometimes you really need to go all out for that first place, because the most riders say that they have to ride right on the edge, and sometimes you have to ride over the edge to make it through on some of these, on the World Cups especially, but in most races in general. And it's being able to ride over the edge and keep it up on two wheels is the successful part, I believe.
Sure, Pete. I'll go with that.
All right, well, it's a little dry out here. The ground here is just crying for some rain. They got to water the track, and we're glad that there is no rain. But we'd like to see this race go down instead of the guy watering the track. But as we go down, you'll see Rancule from France. He's out in front. There's the next moto. We can show you that as well. But here you go down the second straightaway. It'll be heat number 12, where it's going to be Rancule and Dos Reis from Brazil, and then Link from the Netherlands in that third place spot. But now he makes an incredible move from third to battle it out from third to first. It looks like Link, and then Rancule does get back around him. We'll see how he can make things happen if he wants in this last turn. But it will be Rancule leading up Link to the finish, and then Nagasako in that third place spot. So next up, Heat 13, Mandamakers, Caliron, Peters, Shippers, Dean, Ramuntz, Jones, and Kimmin. Some great names. Nick Kimmin, last year's past junior world champion. Anthony Dean, podium maker here in the Supercross. Quentin Clarion, definitely a strong name on the circuit. Mandamakers had some great races last year, but we'll see how things work. Trent Jones is always also a threat on the track, so we'll see. And then you have Shippers, one of the younger riders coming through. Can he use that home country advantage? We'll see how things. Heat 13 brought a lot of heat with the riders in it. So let's get ready for the gate drop. I'm going to let Mike tell you all about this race because he's been slacking. So that's going to be Anthony Dean in the front, Caliron in second. There's going to be Kimmin on the outside. Definitely a good battle. Anthony Dean's definitely one of those true powerhouse riders, but Kimmin, that long, lanky body style, like my compadre here, Mr. Mike Day, definitely an advantage on this type of track. Would you say, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the future. Total. I think he's leading the European series right now, and with his little brother leading juniors, which is pretty cool and unheard of so far. But Anthony Dean just just known for his starts, and obviously you saw that one put a pretty massive hole shot on these guys.
Yeah, Trent Jones sneaks in front of Kimmin. Again, Kimmin's probably just saying, I'm in second, I'm cool with that. Anthony Dean out front all the way around. So it's going to be Dean, Jones, Kimmin, and then Carliron in that 4th place spot. Definitely one of those guys we love to see on the circuit. Always lets you know right how he feels. So we'll get ready for the next moto round 14. Furlan, Pollard, Schwab, Montenegro, Manton, Bias, Kringers, and Luque. These are the future of the sport, Michael. Get up on the get up on your times. The young Italiano Furlan in gate 1. Definitely one of those guys to be on the lookout for. Unfortunately for Pollard and Bias, both of those riders are DNSs. So we're going to have 6 riders out on track, and right now it looks like it's going to be the Latvian of Kringers, definitely using his Maris Strongberg's over jump the first turn technique to his advantage, but didn't work out. So it's going to be Kringers in that 2nd place spot. Montenegro from Argentina, I think, takes over the lead from him, so we'll see how things come out as these riders go into turn number 2. So Montenegro from Argentina. Furlan's going to be in that 2nd place spot. It looks like Kringers is going to be in the back now, but unfortunately for him, he's going to battle it all the way to the line, so it'll be Montenegro with the win. Furlan in that 2nd place spot, Luque for 3rd, and then Kringers in for 4th. So I'm going to let Mike do this next one. He might know a few riders in this one. You will know Sylvain, Andre, Naverstad, Lapraz, Vanderbiesen, Villegas, Webster, Luque's brother, and then Daniel Franks. Definitely a packed moto here. International field here in Papendal for stop 2 of the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour. Mike Day's all on his own this one. Go, Michael. Go. He's scared. Okay, so you're going to see, unfortunately, there, Roddick coming undone, but Vanderbiesen's going to try to get himself out in the lead, and it's going to be a good battle there with Villegas and Andres. They go elbow to elbow into turn 1. You're going to have Vanderbiesen in that 3rd place spot, and it looks like Daniel Franks is going to be in that 4th place spot as well. So those riders coming around. Sylvain Andres, definitely a personality on the tour, and he's a guy that's always looking to make moves. I don't know if you should really be looking over his shoulder instead of just looking in front, but what do I know?
Yeah, Raymond Vanderbiesen. I think he's the longest Dutch national team member, coming around in the number 2 spot. A long time. I think he's been on the Supercross circuit since it started, so cool to see him getting 2nd there.
So it'll be Andre, Vanderbiesen, Villegas, and Franks, your top 4. Yvonne Lapraz just got there in that 5th place spot. But definitely good to see, some of those stronger riders from like Villegas. He's really been making a big impact. He's from Argentina. One of the stops on the World Cup Tour or later on this year. Mike, you'll be there for the first time. Excited to see your South American fans. First time in the booth. Last time, I don't know what you were doing. They were eating steak and drinking wine. So next up, or Red Bull, excuse me. Next up, heat number 16 will be Ricard Scaba. I'm not even going to try that one. Turner, Svub, Matusha, and Lopez.
Getting much better at that.
It's actually Salazar. We got to cut down these Colombians. Just tell them it's 2 names, not 4. Because I'm stupid and I can't figure out their names, so sometimes it's throwing me for a loop. But Sergio Salazar, definitely one of the strong South American riders on the circuit, but we'll see how he can pack up versus Turner, Bodie Turner. Definitely a great rider from Australia. He's out there in there. He's going to have Palajo from Brazil to battle. But as you see, powerful in that second part of the first straightaway. Nobody cares where you finish out. Down the first straightaway, it's where they finish at the finish line. But right there, Bodie Turner definitely came back from a little bit of an issue with that gate to get out to an early lead. So Ezekiel, the Brazilian, he's moved his way into 3rd as Sagabria from Australia. That's a tough one. Australians are usually my favorite. They have nice, easy names. But it'll be Bodie Turner, 747, like a jet plane, all the way to the finish line with the lead over his countryman.
I was talking to a couple of the Australian guys, and it sounds that Bodie is using, you were mentioning his fast second half of the straightaway, but a 46.16, and all you guys out there that's obviously raced know that's a humongous gear. So obviously plays into effect on the second half of the first straightaway. We'll just see when it comes down to quarters and semis if that big gear is going to be able to get out of the gate
You can
next to those. I mean, the big horses, I guess you would say.
you can tell me because I don't know rollouts, but I saw a rider. I'm not gonna say who it was, but a guy with the number 1 in rainbow stripes,
Huge.
a 51 tooth sprocket.
Yeah, but I mean, he had a big rear one too. It wasn't
Well,
a
he had a
16.
big rear. That's
Big
nasty,
rear
That's nasty. Talk.
cog.
This is a family sport. A big what?
So I mean, definitely those. It's funny to see a lot of those guys are trying a lot of different things, and Bodie's one of the guys that feels the big gear is going to help him. But sometimes I question that when it comes down to quarters, and you really need the pressures on. There's elbows out, and everyone's kind of fighting for inches if that big gear is going to really pay off for him.
So Mayette, talking about big things, Mayette from France gets out to an early lead right over Jim Brown from Canada. Definitely a strong rider. Gets a little bit squirrely. Lets Brown go by. Brown tries to get squirrely back, give him back. But right now, Brown will keep it on 2 wheels. And then you have the younger of the Kinman brothers out there fighting his way. Looks like he's going to be in a photo finish for that second place spot. But Brown from Canada, again, another one of those guys. He's always been out there, definitely fast. You had that fastest rider from Canada, in my opinion, Tori Nyhog. He's been out for a while with injury, but somebody's got to step up and be the next best, and that's going to be Brown today with that win there in heat number 16. So we're on to the last of the Elite's men's motos here, heat number 18 in that first round. You're going to have Lopez, Tugas, Caravan, Kager, Van der Wurst, Kalan, and Zula, Mike's second brother-in-law.
Oh, come on.
Number 559. Those riders in the gate. Last run. We'll see how things go out as we get ready for the drop. If Mike Day was paying attention, he would tell you Tugas from Canada has an early lead. He's going to be battling out with Joshua Kalan from Australia. And then Tommy Zula up there in that third place spot. But this is a good battle. Joshua Kalan, and again, another one of those tall riders using that bike for his advantage. Gets over, unfortunately for Tugas, a little bit of a spill right there. Kalan bumps with him, and he goes down. Kalan goes on, has that good lead, and then he's going to have Tommy Zula in that second place spot, and then Charvant from France in that third place. But you see Joshua Kalan from Australia taking it to the line with the victory here in the last of the elite men's moto. Tommy Zula from the United States in second, and then Charvant from France is in third. What's your standout for round number 1 for the elite men?
Doesn't seem like. I actually feels like the wind's kind of calming down from practice. It was so windy in practice. A lot of these guys were clipping out and jumping off the track. So it looks like the wind's kind of calmed down. Seems like everyone's kind of starting to feel how the track's going to race. Obviously, Barry had a rough go on the first one, so he's going to have to pull a couple hole shots here in the next couple laps. And obviously the Dutch guys are kind of owning the track, which we thought they would. See a lot of those guys shopping in the corners and passing, and see Jaspers with that nice inside local line. So some of these guys were smart. They'd start watching some of these Dutch guys and where they're riding the track to see kind of where the good places are to pass, and where to take that weird uphill crossover section. Kind of seems like it's a dead zone on the track. So some good racing so far, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
So speaking of big things, Mike, coming up just in the month of June in Baku, it's going to be the 2014 first edition of the European Games. It's kind of the equivalent for us Northerners, North American continenters, as the Pan Am Games.
Yep.
Baku's going to have BMX in it as well. So let's get a little glimpse of what Baku is going to be like as we get ready to check out a promotional video from Baku 2014. So we're going to move on in the program. We have a small little break here, Mike. So your standout in the elite men. What about the elite women's first round? If you can remember that far back.
Yeah, Felicia looked really well. I mean, she's been having somewhat of a kind of issues the last couple months of kind of overriding the track, and she looked actually pretty comfortable on the track. So her Amanda Carr looked really good with the whole shot and a smooth lap. So yeah.
Yeah. So the overview of this track here, in your, how would you classify it as technical versus speed? I mean, what's the what do you call it? Ratio.
The ratio.
The ratio.
Obviously, I mean, if you look at the start ramp, from what I've been told, it's 3 meters or a meter higher, which I guess is about 3 feet. So obviously, you're going to be coming down the front straightaway with a little bit more speed. But it's a lot longer than what these guys are used to. I think they said about 40 seconds compared to Manchester, which was like 25. So a bit more length, which could play into some of these guys being a bit tired when it comes down to semis and mains. But rhythm sections seems, for me looking at it, it seems technical, but these guys are making pretty easy work of it. But I think the big factor is wind, which it always is here in Papendal. So, I mean, you can see the flags out there. They're going crazy right now.
Speaking of big factors, there's a big VIP factor here. You can see that ginormous structure just to the next of us. We'll get back to that later on. So we'll get ready for run number 2 for the elite women. We'll get ready with heat number 1. You see Christian, Prius, Kaptanova, Smulders, Espinoza, and Korloba. Those are your women lined up in the gate. And Mike's friends here, getting ready to ride down the ramp. Elite women take some cojones to ride down that ramp.
Not sure where you're going with this one, Pete.
Me either. But as you can see, ladies in the gate, we are ready for racing here. Round number 2 for the elite women. 7 motos in total for them. And here we go. As the gate drops, it looks like it's going to be Smulders and Christensen battling it out down that first straightaway. And Christensen from Denmark right there, edging out Smulders, and they're going to go into turn number 1. And then you're going to have Kaptanova from Russia in that 3rd place spot. But right now it's going to be Christensen from Denmark with her good little lead going into that 2nd turn. The women seem to really have come along. Definitely riding, when you get to those semifinals and main events, they're really side by side. But some of these motos right now, it's a little bit strung out still, but definitely they want to just make their way into tomorrow's program. So coming across the line will be Christensen from Denmark with the win, Smulders in 2nd, and then Korlob from France in that 3rd place spot. You can see the wind has picked up a little bit. So yes, that was Meryl Smulders. There's a Lauren Smulders. 2 sisters, just like the Kinman brothers. I think it's a kinmanship of sorts for the elite men and elite women to have sisters. Just like Mike Day, Christensen, brother. And there's a brother and sister, the Christensens. Just like there's a Mike Day, and there's the other Mike Day, the other Day. I can't remember his name.
There's no
What's
other
your brother's
Day.
name?
Matt.
Matt Day. Does he still race?
No.
Really going to have to step it up. Oh, Mike's busy on his cell phone. So, okay, next up, Heat 2, Holovakova, Gonzalez, Van Hoof, Seco, Marie, Carrera. I had a Carrera once.
Oh, Jesus.
And,
Here we go.
Gomez
with the cars.
from Colombia. I didn't have a caddy. Town car? What did you have?
What?
67. I don't know. You had some big old boat.
Continental. Lincoln Continental.
Oh, Conti.
Come on now.
Fans love Conti. Bill Nelson loved the Conti. All right, so as we go down there, Gonzalez again from Ecuador definitely had a strong run in that first lap, and she really wanted to continue it, but it looks like it's going to be Van Hoof who gets into turn number 1 with Marie in that 2nd place spot, and then Carrera is in 3rd. So Van Hoof definitely has been riding on point as of late. She's been one of those riders always strong in the elite women's class. Maybe not so much right there, but as she gets to turn number 3 with the lead, definitely a big lead, and that's going to add a lot of confidence for her. She's got a 1st and a 2nd, or 2 firsts, and she's going to definitely be excited to be moving on in the program. But it's going to be Van Hoof with that first, Marie in second, Halakova in third, and then Gonzalez from Ecuador after that great start. Moved back to that fourth place spot, but that still puts her in good looking position for moving on in the program. So next up, Mike's favorite standout from round one, Felicia Stendhal, Atene, Jones, Baru, Amin, Green, and Smith. I like Smith. Smith's a good one. It's an easy one to say. But in the gate, number 23, a tip of the hat to Michael Jordan, maybe, because she's from that region. Probably not. Probably didn't know Michael Jordan.
She didn't know who that is.
But what she does know is good starts.
Oh, man.
Because she's got a lot of power. You see her from the inside. You see her pulling away. You see her stay low over jump one. Perfectly air bridge jump two. And she's going to take that early lead going into turn number one, Mike.
Yeah, she's one of the girls on the first jump. You'll see it's a triple. And she was one of the only girls jump manually, and that looked pretty good. We'll see how that works out come semi-time when you get a little nervous. But, yeah, Felicia's looking to be back to somewhat form of her past last year, I guess.
Yeah, so Stancil has that lead over Charlotte Green from Great Britain and Antenne from France in that third place spot. But Felicia Stancil takes the win. So next up, we'll get ready for heat number 4. It's going to be Lauren Reynolds, Teshikina from Russia, Diaz, O'Keefe, Dodu, and Ben Hess. Again, another combination of sisters, the Diaz sisters. BMX is a family sport. We love to see the siblings race out here. So as soon as Matt Day gets ready, take it on the track. You never know. You can get iPad Coach MD 365 out there giving tips for the tricks. Lauren Reynolds is giving the rest of the girls some tips right now. The fastest way to get down that first straightaway. Definitely putting the power down as she comes away with the lead going into that second turn. Coming back from injury, definitely, a hard thing to do. Mike, you had to deal with it yourself. Lauren's doing that as well, and it looks like that downtime definitely played into her advantage. Definitely never want to be away from the track, but she definitely looks strong out there right now.
Yeah, pretty impressive coming back from injury so fast and already not winning a moto, just crushed that moto. So good confidence builder as she is looking to move on to tomorrow's race.
So when you're coming back from an injury, I mean, how does that play in your mind when you come back? You've been there before, but now it's like kind of like a whole rebuilding. How long did that really? I mean, I know you didn't have many injuries, but you had a couple of big ones, and
yeah, it's frustrating and deflating at times. I mean, you feel like you want to be where you were, but it's just not going to happen given the depth of how fast everyone is now. So just got to kind of take your time, go with the punches, set small goals for yourself, and kind of lead those into bit bigger ones. It's kind of weird making goals of, I just want to get into the semi or get here, but it's kind of what it takes now because everyone's just so fast. So
here we go with heat number 5. From the middle, it looks like Amanda Carr again is going to have herself a good start. A little bit of a bobble right there will put her in the back as we get ready. It looks like Thibaut from France. It's going to be ahead of Sprangers, and then Carr is going to be able to regroup and get into that third place position.
Yeah, you could see the wind is picking up, and it was a big headwind on that front straight. Just looking at the flags in the front straightaway, so definitely Carr felt like she wasn't going to make that second one, grabbed a handful break. But getting back up in the mix, I think she's third now.
So coming around, it's going to be Thibaut from France in that first place spot. A little bit of a change there. It's going to be in that second place. It's going to be Sprangers from the Netherlands, and then Carr will be able to hold on for the third, and then Carnival from Brazil will get that fourth place finish. 2 more motos here in the elite women to move on for that second round. Definitely, we like to say it's the wind out there, but this track really is one to detect any flaws in a rider's, skill level or power level. pulls out some of those big riders. Like I said, when you're coming back and you have any kind of feeling, of not being as strong 100%, this track will definitely call you out in any given spot.
Yeah, and then obviously not only feeling not at your best, and then you throw in the ever-changing wind and weather. I mean, this track will definitely kind of test everything. I remember racing here the very first year when the track was, I felt a bit bigger and more challenging. I was actually talking to Luke Medill about it earlier, where everyone was scared before we dropped in. So just this track's definitely the biggest one on the circuit, and definitely shows the most flaws of what you're missing, I guess.
And speaking of getting your skills on point, Bondarenko from Russia just had a really nice run down that first straightaway. Manualed that whole second jump. Definitely got the speed and the skill to get in front of Marguerite Portier. And right now, definitely, like I said before, a strong contingent from Russia is really making their position known on the world map of BMX, especially being out of front of Portier, past world champions in this elite women's class. She's on her comeback of her own, but it's going to be Bondarenko from Russia taking the win here in Moto number 6 for those elite women. And unfortunately, Laetitia Lecourgil did not start. I'm not quite sure what happened with her, but Bondarenko from Russia is first, Portier second, Alihoud in third, and Diaz for fourth. So we'll get ready for the last of the elite women's motos here in round number 2. It's going to be Husman, Reno, Hill, Chamelin, Shaves, and Delar getting ready. You excited, Mike? Gonna let you call this one.
No, you got it. I think you're good.
Scared. All right, we have 6 women on track, ready to go with the last of the women in run number 2. Here we go with heat number 7 in these elite women from Papendal, Netherlands. Stop 2 on the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour 2015. Power poured down that first straightaway. Looks like Chaves from Brazil, and now it's going to be Shaylin Reno making a good move there to get out front, and then she messes it up with a little bit of a bonk, and now is a 3-way battle with these women. Who wants it? Who needs it? Who's going to get it? Looks like Della from Australia is out front. Husman in that second place spot. Reno is able to stick it still and be in third. We'll see how things go out. It's like that uphill last turn. Legs are burning. You want to get across the line. It's going to be Delar with the win. Husman in second. Hill passes Reno, and those will be your top 4 finishers.
There it is, your second run in the ladies, done and dusted, as we move across to the men's qualification, run number 2, heat.
So now we'll move back to the elite men. And you'll see Sylvain, Andre, Duche, Brown, Thurkeson, Van der Weer, and Bendelos. All of your riders in run number 1 for the second round of motos. See how things work out for these guys. It's the wind. The wind's always here.
It's always here.
We just need that same weather graphic for the year. Wind, cloud, rain. Chance of rain.
40%, right?
Chance of rain. Chance of sun, pretty slim. Chance of wind, 99.9%. Chance of fun, 150%. The gate drops, and Bindelos trying to get back from his crash that he had in the first moto. Now he sees himself in second, but he's going to be, I believe that's going to be Sylvain Andre with the lead, and then Van der Weer from Bel in that third place spot. But right now, Sylvain Andre out front of Bendelos. Bendelos has a little bit of a issue. Moves back to that third spot.
Malik needs to pick it up a little bit. He's kind of fallen back after that rough first lap, but yeah, it looks like Sylvain just crushing 2 aces in the bag going into third round, so he's looking on to make motos for tomorrow.
So yes, it'll be Sylvain, Andre, Duche in second, Van der Weer in third, Thurkeson in fourth, and get ready for moto number 2. Laustin, Peters, Brethauer, Van der Putten, Shippers, and Tihico who's your standout? Who's your guy? Who you putting your chips on?
I would like to see Evil Evo. What happened there?
Lauston from Denmark definitely had a good run there in that first lap. See if he can back it up here, because the second moto is really the decisive one. If you're on the bubble, to be able to forge your way through, he had a good run, but we'll see how things play out as the gate drops and the power from the riders looks pretty even. It's a good battle, 3 abreast going into turn number 1, and it will be Lauston who's able to come out of turn number 1 with the early lead. Brethauer, definitely one of those names that you recognize, definitely had good runs. He's in that second place spot. A little bit of a bobble there is going to cost him, put him back, but right now it'll be Lauston with the early lead. So Lauston, Brethauer, then Peters in that third place spot. A little bit of a strung out going into the turn, last turn, but coming up to the line, it'll be Lauston from Denmark with the win. Peters from the Netherlands second. Vander Putten, York Pick, stepped it up, came back with third place, and Brethauer will be in fourth.
Great to see how Vander Putten moves around the track. In Papendal, heat 3.
So next up, Heat 3, Carlos Ramirez, Anthony Dean, Bensick, Cameron, Kringers, Luque, and Tugas. Not one, but Tugas. It's like 2 chains. It's his Canadian brother.
Whatever you say there.
Can someone bring Mike Day a Red Bull, please? All right, we will get ready for the next up. Carlos Ramirez, the little magician, made it happen here last year. Can he do it today? He needs to make his way through the program to get into tomorrow's race action. But a strong first run from him. I think he was third, though. I think he had a little bit of a bobble right at the end. I'd love to tell you how he really did, but I can't tell you.
It's not working.
But we'll get ready. Anthony Dean definitely had that strong first run. See what he has in him left. And here, too, he's that big barrel-chested guy with the white jersey who's out in the lead right now. So
Anthony Dean into turn 1. Obviously smashed that first one, looking to do the same thing. He's the guy that kind of has just his performance of the last few years has definitely picked up. He's one to be on the Australian Olympic team, so no surprise that he's hole shot in all these motos. Little heat from the inside on the local line that we talked about earlier, but comes back through into the last turn.
So yeah, it'll be a good battle with Dean and Ramirez in that last turn. They definitely both want to score those low points. Ramirez needs them after getting that third or fourth place finish, but Dean secures another first place result, and Bensick comes in with the third, and then Cameron from New Zealand will be the fourth place rider across the line.
So it's a great racing up front there. Really good to see Anthony Dean and Ramirez having a go at each other.
Next up, heat number 4 will be Shara Mayet.
Shevko, Maya from the Netherlands, Van der Ries and Harmsen, and Blumenen from Germany.
I'm just listening to the names so I can pronounce them right. Blumenen. I like that one. Blumenen. Like bloomin' onion, but if you say it really fast. Blumenen.
Oh.
But 24. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to lay back this time. Last time he laid off a little bit, got past. This time you can see the power coming from lane number 1. I'm going to call it straight from the gate. It's going to be Harmonson. That's who I was talking about. But Corbin Chira definitely going to be in that second place spot, but he's such a great technical rider. A lot of opportunities on this track to get past, and he just did.
Oh.
Fortunately, he went down, so we'll see how things hopefully can get back up. But he went down in one of those spots in the crossover. Yeah, he seems to be fine. But Harmonson and Mayet are going to battle it all the way down that third straightaway. Harmonson's going to have a little bit of a lead coming into the last turn. Is he able to hold off Mayet? Looks like he's going to be able to come across the line. Harmonson, Mayet, and Klashenko will be your top 3 finishers.
So Corbin Chira taking the dismount on the transfer. He's good to go though. Let's give him a round of applause. He'll be back at the next one.
Next up, heat number 5. Going to be Resende, Marino, Racine, Hubert, Kuzman, Herman, and Komarov.
So Corbin Chira rolls his way through to the finish line as
What is it? Okay, next up we have your teammate. Teammate Resende 500.
Instagram famous.
We're going to have Ramiro, Marino, Herman, Racine, Hubert, Kuzma, Komarov. Who's your pick?
I think Herman's gonna pull the whole shot from 6.
On his birthday?
What is he? 20
20.
something.
Birthday boy. Getting pulled by Marino Ramiro. Ramiro Marino or Ramiro Marino? And they're both getting pulled by Resende 500. If he had his GoPro right on now, you'd see it in about 8 seconds, but GoPros are not allowed on your helmet this season. So Resende with the lead, Marino in second, Herman in third. This could be a semifinal, could be an 8th final. But it's a moto here, and that's what you get when you have the world's fastest racers competing on the World Cup Tour. Anything can happen. And what happened there was Resende took the win, Marino in second, Herman in third. And he's sitting on some good points, so it's definitely a way that you want to go after your second round of motos. Late night for you? Who's in Heat 6, Michael? Viede, Vandenberg, Isidore, Webster, Greeling. I don't know that guy 81, and Fantoni. Stormbergers. Stormy. Maris Laralde. Steven Strombergs. One of those. I think that's who it was. Is it Steven Strombergs?
Yeah. Both 81.
Career vet. All right, here we go. Stormy Burgers in that lane 7. Definitely has the power. And he's going to show you how it's done. A little bit of a lead going into turn 1.
Just a small one.
And this is no slouch moto. Vanderberg in that second place spot. Isidore from Great Britain definitely stepped up his game since Manchester. 3 crashes. He had 3 snowmen in his front lawn. That's definitely the way, not the way you want to start off a Supercross. But that is the way you want to start it off, right there. Number 1, Strombergs. Definitely having a good lap there. A little bit of a air brake coming out of turn number 3. It's got some heat on him, though.
Oh.
If you're going to beat Strombergs, you better, any opportunity there is, you better take it. Because it doesn't happen very often.
No.
But Vandenberg, Strombergs, Viede, and Fatoni will be your top 4. Yeah, shut it. This is a young Great Britain rider. He's come through their program, their Star Search program. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, Isidore. He definitely had some great runs going, but as I said, he crashed a few times in Manchester, and unfortunately today seems to have that tradition going. It's definitely not what he wants to do, but he's a strong rider making his way through, and we'll definitely hear a lot from him in the future. So Heat 7, we'll have Link, Gain, Schottman, Jaspers, Lanagard, Delia, Kronk, and Mainton. Those are your riders here in Heat 7, halfway through the second round of the Elite Men's Qualifiers. And there's your other teammate. You just got all your teammates doing the work for you, Michael.
It's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, must be nice to sit back,
here.
cash those big checks.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, we'll have to talk about later on that 4th place finish you got in the Sea Otter Classic downhill. Pretty impressive, but not as impressive as the start from our rider out in the lead. And that is going to be Jaspers from right here in the Netherlands with his countryman Link in that 2nd place spot. Where's your teammate? He's slacking.
No, he's coming through
Better
on the
step it up.
crossover into the 4th place position. It looks like, nope, back to 5th.
So it looks like Jaspers and Link, then Kronk, Lagarde, Gain's going to be in that 5th place spot. But right now, Jaspers really looking good out there on the track.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, he was on the Dutch national team, kind of built his own program, and still looks like he said he's training a lot of guys, but still looks like he's putting in enough time to win motos here. So pretty cool for him. Sean Gain coming across 4th, so.
Must have been those titanium bolts in his brake lever to
Yeah.
help him get through. Tuned by Tommy. Tommy tuned.
Tommy tuned. But, yeah, not bad for him. I mean, did you see his ankle at Chula last year? For him to be racing here, only 5 points going into third round, that's still pretty good for him.
So heat number 8, Riccardi, Caliron, Nagasako, Furlan, Moore, Duchesne, Pourchette, and Kadyshev. Those are your riders here. Your other teammate. You just, I don't know, GT's just got such a big team. That's why you're in here.
Yeah.
Better teach Caliron how to get out of the gate, though, Michael. So it's going to be Nagasako from Japan with the early lead, but Caliron's definitely one of those riders that can fight his way back through the pack. He's definitely a strong rider. Nagasako, Riccardi, and Duchesne, those will be your top 3. Nagasako, definitely one of those guys to keep an eye out on. Trains a lot at that UCI training center, and it looks like under the wings of Thomas Allier, definitely has a good future ahead of him. And look at him down that third straightaway, Mike.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about how big and wide open the track is. You see Kelleron was in 8th in the first straightaway. He's already in 4th, looking to go to 3rd. We were just talking about how wide open this track is, and Quinton's definitely showed it with a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, a lot of power, that big physique of his, and he definitely has a great attitude on
Big
these Supercross
physique.
tracks. It's what? He has a big physique. I don't know.
That's what you're going with, huh?
Muscular.
A big physique.
He's a fit man. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be Sean Palmer. No, it's James Palmer from Canada. Daniel Franks, Lagarde, Badu, Nassim Bernard, and Nervkla. Those are your riders in Heat 9.
You really got that on point now, Pete.
Sean Palmer?
Yeah. Or the names.
Oh, I went to the name pronunciation school.
Cool.
Articulation school.
Yeah. Thomas was in here earlier giving you the lowdown.
Tips and tricks. Heat number 9, second run here in Papendal. The gate is down. The Canadian James Palmer really wants to make his name known. I'll say it again, Palmer, Palmer, Palmer. But Lagarde, definitely a good run going into turn number 1. And then it's going to be Franks from New Zealand giving Palmer a good run going into turn number 2. But this is where things get hairy. Guys get under each other, and you'll see if they're able to ride side by side going in that third straightaway, Mike.
Yeah, we're just seeing the crossover. I mean, we saw 3 or 4 passes in there between the first and second place guy and then the third and fourth. So, but Palmer taking the smooth line through the rhythm on the outside, passing, going into, I think that gives him 2 aces so far, right?
Yeah, Palmer's definitely looking good. Daniel Frank's a little bit of a bonk there. He's another Insta fan. Got a lot of great running. He actually gets Sarah Walker to do a lot of filming for him on his when they're back in New Zealand riding together. But right now, Palmer from Canada, definitely a great run. And then Bidou in that third place spot, an impressive run from him. So we'll get ready for the next run. Corey Fishsticks, Montenegro, Blanc, Luckhurst, Donard, Reed, Masquart, and Rosex. Corey Frederick won that national championships. He's a great guy, a lot of fun to be with. Spent some time in Australia earlier in January. Just a fun guy, always having a great time out on the BMX track. Him, Bodie Turner, great friends. Great competitors on the track, but not afraid to bang elbows when they get in the gate. That's determination, Michael. That's something I used to see you do all the time. You crash, no matter what. You'd be out there
Easy,
flat
Pete.
tires.
Easy.
What? I'm saying. You're the guy. If he would have had a Tioga tire, it probably wouldn't have popped, but you know, I'm not sure what kind of tire that was. But Tioga is the official tire sponsor. Did you know that, Mike, of the 2015 UCI BMX World Cup Tour? You could tell by those big banners.
Big banners, the wind banners.
Oakley
I've
as
been looking at
well.
all day.
Cliff Bar, Promax, Red Bull, Chase Bicycles, GoPro. We have some of the best corporate sponsors in the industry out here, really putting on a great show for the fans here at the track and the fans at home, giving away some great giveaways. We always give away GoPro cameras, giving away a Chase Bicycle tomorrow to one lucky fan, and if they go to Chase Bicycle's Instagram, they'll get all the information on the way to win that bicycle. Chase Mini Edge, you can't go wrong. Maybe get yourself a free pair of sunnies. Get yourself a Red Bull autographed by Michael Day.
Oh, jeez.
And that's it. So Mike's going to take us through Heat 10. Bring in the heat. That's going to be Blanc from Sweden, Switzerland. One of those places. They're right next to each other, right? Close enough. So Frieswick definitely using the protein powder advantage, making his way out to the front. National champion of Australia. He's such a new national champion. Doesn't even have the sleeve yet. He's got that 1 week grace period, so he better have it on for tomorrow. He'll be officially warned. Here's your official warning, Frieswick. Get your sleeve right. But what he has right is that lap as he comes across the line with the win ahead of Blanc, Donard, and Montenegro. They will be the top 4. Next up, heat number 11. Garcia, Luque, Dumont, Mountainmakers, Corina, Locane, and Nobles. We saw Nobles crash in that first run. He's really going to have to step it up here. And luckily for him, Bios from New Zealand is not racing, so. But these guys better look out because Barry's on a mission to get some low points to be moving on in the program. He's out there in lane 7, so we'll see how things work out as we get ready to drop the gate here in heat number 11. So right now, Barry has himself a great start, but he's going to have to deal with Jared Garcia on the inside. The two guys that train and look alike, had the same physique. I know you don't like that word, Mike, but the same little bit of a bonk there by Barry. He'll get through it. But right now, it's going to be Jared the Jet doing cartwheels. His little younger sister does gymnastics. The Jet doesn't definitely want to do that. But right now, what Barry needed to do was get out front. And right now, that's where Barry is with the early lead over Luque. Right now, Barry's definitely in that spot where he has to be if he wants to move on in the program. He will take the win. Unfortunately, as we said, Jared Garcia went down, but Luque, then Mandamakers in that 3rd place spot, and then Carrera from Colombia in 4th. So Jarrett's back up, making his way around the track, but it's definitely, again, you don't want to crash anywhere, but that's one of those spots that's not very friendly for an issue. His pants, he had a little bit of a malfunction with his pants there, but that's an indication of a hard crash, Michael.
Yeah, obviously it looks like he's a bit banged up, but able to ride around the track. Hopefully they can fix him up for next moto. I think he's sitting, obviously, with a crash. Definitely going to have high points. Going to need that win, first or second. But Barry coming through with a victory there, that's exactly what he needed. He needs one more of those to make it through. So good start for him. But this next one, Upshaw, also needs a good one to continue to hopefully move on. But with that crash in that last moto, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Villegas had a good run. Julian Godet as well had a good run. So it's going to be, again, an uphill battle. But Upshaw, definitely one of those guys to take it on. He's the one in gate 7. He's got some incredible style. And again, when a rider really needs to get it, you see that. And that little bit of edge right now is in Upshaw's advantage. He's going to be battling out with Villegas going into turn number 1. But Upshaw is definitely not one to back down, and he's a crafty rider on the track. So if anyone can make a pass, it could be Upshaw, as he's right there in turn number 2. He's going to go. Let's see where he goes with this line. Mike, where would you go?
He lost a little bit of speed there. I think he's almost trying a little bit too hard to be smooth, but he just needed to kind of ride like he can. So obviously was hoping for a little bit better, but second place will still keep him in for the next round. Obviously needs a victory, but he had a great start from the lane 8. So another one of those and should be in there for tomorrow.
Yeah, so Villegas, Upshaw, then Verla and Schwab, those are your top 4. It's a weird thing. To talk about how much the mental aspect of BMX racing is, especially when, you always want to go out there and do well, but when you really need it, how you're able to, a true champion, a true great rider is able to turn it up just that little bit to get what they really need to move on in the program.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see, what's that stupid saying? It's all between, 90% of it's in your head, but it's true. So many thoughts can go racing through your head, especially with high points, the wind, this, that. It's the real guys that can block it out. And you'll watch Maris. In practice, everyone's jumping on the gate to be next to him and see where they're at and see who's pulling and yada yada yada. But he kind of plays it cool, and then when it comes to semi and main, he's on another level. So he's one of the guys that knows how to turn it on. But that's the biggest battle with BMX is the mental side of it.
So get ready with heat number 13. It's going to be Ricardi Lapraz, Jerry Matsushitsu, Salon Richard Lopez, and Pilar. Right now it's going to be Lapraz with a good, powerful start down that first straightaway. But he's going to be right behind Lopez, and now he gets around him, so it'll be Lapraz with a good lead going into that second turn. Definitely pulling away a little bit, and it's, again, when you have that, when you're out front, no one's next to you. Mike, talk about how much easier it is when you're riding in the pack.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in front, you kind of dictate the race. You go where you want to go. You go where obviously you're going to have the most speed for the next straightaway or the most exit speed. When you're in the pack, I mean, that's kind of, you're kind of given what your options are very minimal. So it's definitely the place to be is up front. But like we were talking about earlier and we said all day, this is the place where it's so wide open that and so fast that there's not too bad of a line to pick here. It's just getting over the jumps and keeping good speed out of the corners is the big key here.
So Lapraz went on the win, Lopez in that second, and Matsushitsa is in that third place spot.
Did Thomas help you with that one earlier?
Yeah, we've gone over these. We're pinpointing them because the
How was it?
fans demand exact pronunciation.
Let's say that one
and
more
we'll
time.
Give it to him. Shh. Which one? Matsushitsu.
Yeah, perfect. You're getting it, Pete.
So you see Hernan Catalin from Argentina. Unfortunately, it crashed, but he's back up. We have a great medical staff on hand. WMI Global, one of the top traveling safety medical rescue teams out there. But let's get ready for Heat 14. We have Vanderbiesen, Molina, Yoshimura, Pettigrew, Kimmin, Chappelle, not David, and then Slots. I've seen Chappelle in concert. He's a funny guy. What do you mean? No one can see your head shaking. You say, yeah,
I would agree with that.
funny.
Yeah.
And he's clean. He's classy. He keeps it classy.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
clean.
Speaking of classy, Mike Day and I are so proud of you and happy to join in on BMX Live TV. And Mike's here for the rest of the season,
Fingers crossed.
unless we fire him after
Yeah.
today.
Good chance of
Probably won't
that.
happen.
Good
I
chance
probably
that
I'll
I'm
get,
out.
I probably get fired first.
Good
'Cause if
chance
Mike-
I'm done.
Because, Mike, no matter any aspect of your life, all you have to do if you have an issue, you just unbutton your top button on your shirt and pull out that silver Olympic medal. You can go right back in.
Those
You
days
get
are
kicked out.
over.
You get
Those
kicked out
days
the
are over.
club. You put it right back on. Speaking of kicking things out, it's going to be Nick Kidman kicking out in front of Raymond Vanderbiesen 1-2. These are some strong contingents here from the Netherlands riders in these early motos. These guys know the track probably better than most.
Yeah.
Right now, Nick Kidman saying, I'm a young gun. I'll show you 1-2-1 what it's like to run around this track. He's definitely one of those fast guys. Like I said, junior world champion. Definitely a fast rider out on the track right now, making his way around the track with Vanderbiesen in that second place spot. Boston Beaver's in here going crazy. You should see him jumping up and down for his team riders. They're just pumped. But it's going to be Kimmin, Vanderbiesen, Yoshimura, and Dave Chappelle in that fourth place spot. Pettigrew, again, had that crash. He's got 2 fifth-place finishes.
like
it's
he's-
going to be tough
He
for
needs
him.
an ace, I
But
think.
he's one of those guys that can turn it on. A youngster trying to come through the system, he's definitely getting his way. So next up, Heat 15, Zula, Frank, Kalan, Christensen, Anderson, Renkul, and Elberts. That's your start list here for Heat 15. It's looking nice out.
Nice and windy.
Nice and windy, nice and cloudy, but no rain, and that's what we like on the Supercross World Cup Tour. Coming from the inside, Renkul from France definitely needs to get on it because he's got Kalan right next to him, and that guy's strong and definitely a powerful rider. And through these turns, he's going to use every inch of his big bike to get his way past these riders. But right now, Renkul's not going to let anybody by, stringing out his lead. But right now, Kalan's all over him, Michael, and talk us through that third straight.
Oh, Callan getting a little bucked into that section. Looks like
But-
the wind's kind of coming into a tail on the rhythm, but he's always been known to have real good skills, as you can see as he passes to the finish line. So nice save for him. Zula with a third spot gives him pretty high points going into the next one, so he's going to have he's going to need a top 2 finish to hopefully move on. But Christensen also 5th place, so 2 fifths for him, I think. So it's going to be kind of interesting as we get into the next moto. A lot of these guys are sitting on 8, 9 points, and that's kind of the bubbles from what we've heard or what we've seen over the last couple World Cups.
So next up, Heat 16, Joes, De Reyes, Turner, Salazar, Derome, Posey, Meyer. Posey had a crash in that first turn, or the first round, but he also had a crash in the first round in Manchester. Came through. Him and Nick Long both went down. Nick Long went on to podium at that race, so we'll see right now if Justin's able to pour on the power, and right now he has that #1 spot out front, and he's really letting those guys know that he wants to move on through that program. Do Reyes from Brazil in that 2nd place spot, and then Jones from New Zealand's got Bodie Turner all over him as those guys battle out. Bodie Turner seems to get through a little bit of a bonk, but he still makes his way into 2nd place, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like Posey's kind of in a league of his own on this lap. Definitely smoothed it out. Had a couple bobbles on that 2nd straightaway, but you could tell that he's zoned in. Like we talked about earlier, where it's so hard to switch a bad lap to a good lap, but once you do, it kind of keeps building confidence, and now we'll roll into hopefully the next moto and on to tomorrow. So good lap for Posey and Turner. Both look to be in good form this weekend.
So next up, Heat 17, Emilia Fallo, Sergers, Tangier, Pizarro, Duman, Berra, Carbon, and Swoop. Emilia Fallo, one of the no disrespect, but he's one of the oldest riders on the circuit, but you saw the way he rode in that first moto. Definitely age has no issues with him, and he's in lane 1. We can see an explosive, powerful start from the young man from Ecuador. Mike's sipping out of his juice box. Really getting powered up. Get excited about Heat 17, the 2nd run for these riders here in Arnhem, Papendal, Holland, the Netherlands. You pick it. It's as many names as the Colombian riders. They should just pick some names like they do in Japan, China. It's like, yeah, this is Jim Jones when his name is not Jim Jones. Coming into turn #1, it's going to be Pizarro from Argentina. Definitely, again, Argentina's been a powerful force to be dealt with in the last few years, and you can see that some of those strong battles, and right there is a strong battle going up for front. But who is it? It's Emilia Fallo coming from in the back of the pack, but making his way up front. Again, he wants to be up. He won that first round. Definitely going to be happy with a 2nd win if he can hold it together through that 3rd straightaway. But when you ride, Mike, when you have that great first half of the track and you sometimes think ahead, I mean, how precise do you have to be thinking about the track? Because if your mind wanders off at any given point on one of these Supercross tracks, that could lead to some danger, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's super hard because when you're racing, you kind of settle in, you see where you're at, where you know where the places to pass are, but you kind of got to stay in the moment, especially on this track, the 3rd straightaway being so deep and tall and the wind swirling around. I mean, you kind of got to stay in the moment and not really look too far ahead, but plan out kind of the corners where you feel you need to exit or good passing corners. But, yeah, definitely need to stay in the moment because this track can eat you at any second.
All right, so we get up to Heat #18, the last of the 2nd run for the elite men. We're going to have Romain Mahieu, Kinman, Nassar, Waktai, Shippers, Kager, and Vander Heiden coming down the ramp. And right now, out to an early lead from the inside, it's going to be the youngster from France. That's going to be Romain Mahieu, number 100, out with the early lead. Flowy style, as most of these French riders do. Definitely a technical giant. I don't know about that line right there, but in this moto, it's going to work for him right now as he goes in there. Kinman, and the younger Kinman of the 2 brothers, in that 3rd place spot, really wanted to get around Vander Heiden in for that 2nd place spot, but Mahieu's got a good lap going here as he takes the lead from the start, and it looks like he's going to bring it all the way across the line. Definitely the way you want to get through that 2nd moto, Mike.
Super smooth. That gives him, 2 aces on the day so far. Younger Kinman coming across in 4th. But pretty impressive with the Kinman brothers. Looks like they're both in good positions to move on for tomorrow.
So as the fans Love to call it. This is the heartbreak round. Third round of motos. If you're high in points, you definitely got to get a good result here. And if you've had a consistent day so far, you need to carry it through all the way, as this is the last round to decide whether or not these women and men will be moving on in the program for starting tomorrow. Here we go with the first of 7 motos for these elite women. Their third round. It's going to be Halakova, Smulders, Carr, Gomez, Samar, Ronset, and Tene. They are lined up for their first of third runs.
First of
The
third.
first set of the third run of it's confusing, I know.
A lot of activity.
On your mark, get set, go. At least the wind's been consistent.
Yeah, consistently swirling in circles.
Consistently sucking. The gates dropped, Michael, and Amanda Carr gets out.
Kind of came up a little short on that first jump. Again, electing not to jump the second jump. That's not really going to cut it for tomorrow, but obviously in the qualifying rounds, still looks like it's going to work out for her.
Yeah, with that wind, Mike, it might have thrown some of these girls off because they were. I saw a lot of girls in practice yesterday. Yesterday was the nicest day we've had in here in years. Not a lot of wind, sunshine, and we did see a lot of girls boosting that jump into turn number 1. Today with that little bit of wind, qualifications, yes, you have to get through the motos to move on in the program, but that consistency factor and the inconsistency of the wind may be a factor. Right there, Halakova gets the win. Carr comes back for that second place finish. And like you said, you're definitely not going to be able to do that in tomorrow's program, but right now it's just about making it to the show tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for these girls is to just kind of put in solid laps, but that coming up short on the first jump and not being able to jump the second jump is not going to make it. I mean, you remember that epic photo of Elise a few years ago where she jumps a triple into the corner. So hopefully these girls can kind of figure it out as tomorrow approaches quickly.
So let's get an interview, get some words from these women and how things went in their first third moto.
So we have Amanda Carr from Thailand here. Amanda, how are the weather conditions on the track today?
It's definitely better than last year so far.
Heavy winds. I mean, are the winds affecting you at all?
It is a little breezy out there, but it always is in Papendal, so we expect it as riders.
Well, great to have a positive attitude. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.
So Amanda Carr forces her way around that track. A little bit of an issue, but second place still is going to put her through in the program. Definitely where you want to be. So we'll get ready for heat number 2. You see the riders Christensen, Turkison, Reno, Diaz, Carrera, Carnival. Going to be a good race here. Some fast women. You see number 4, Christensen, has been riding really well. Made her way into that main event in Manchester. And it's consistency that wins titles, Michael.
Is it, Pete? I would agree with you there, Pete.
See? I know a thing or two.
Or 2, maybe.
Maybe 3.
No.
I know Buddy's pumped.
Oh,
It's probably in front of the computer.
Getting psyched.
Getting psyched. Here we go. Heat 2, run 3. Christensen, again, consistently out front. Reno looking strong too. That's a youngster.
Oh.
Unclipping is not what you want to do. Can she fight back? Right now, Christensen's fighting her way around the track with the lead, but anything could happen. These girls are a little bit timid on this third run because they definitely want to make their way through, and it looked like Reno was making her way through the pack, so we'll see. So it's going to be Christensen, and Reno does make her way back up into that third place spot. Bawu from the Netherlands is going to be in second, but right now Christian's in a different zip code as she's out front with the wind.
She has to be the most impressive so far in the girls' moto. She actually looks the most comfortable in the wind, and she's not letting kind of the hype of the event or the weather get a hold of her. So pretty excited to see how she does for tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a great run for Shailene Reno as well. Unclipping in that first turn, had a good run, comes back and still gets that third place finish, and I believe that's going to put her through into tomorrow's program as well. But as you said, Mike said, one of the most consistent and impressive women out there, Christensen from Denmark. Let's get a word from her and see how things went for her in her day. Definitely good to see how things went for her today here in the motos.
Simone, you look like you were not affected by the wind at all. You blew that moto out of the water. How do you feel?
I'm glad it looks like it, because it is quite windy outside, but yeah, you have to just relax on your bike, don't get too stiff, and I'm trying to, and you know it's windy, so you're prepared when you stand on the gate, so it's just to do your best and see how it goes.
Well, you absolutely rocked it, and you're going through to the finals tomorrow. So what are you going to do tonight to prepare?
Oh, relax, maybe have a little ice bath or something. Yeah, and just like hopefully the weather's a bit better tomorrow, so we'll have a good day of racing, yeah.
Well, ice baths are not very relaxing to me, but I'm sure it'll be very relaxing to you. Thank you so much.
So as Mike pointed out, impressive run there. We'll get ready. So get ready for heat number 3 here at Van Hoof, Dork, Alud, Rojas, Reynolds, Green, and Sprengers. Lauren Reynolds has been riding really well today, so we'll see. Van Hoof has also been strong, so it'll be interesting to see how things pan out as we get ready to drop the gate here for the third run, run number 3.
They pick their gates in motos. They pick their gates in motos. No.
Yeah. Van Hoof, again, consistent and strong, battling it out with Lauren Reynolds. Lauren Reynolds definitely wants more. You can see she's not going to back down. But we said Van Hoof's been on a high as of late, getting some great results in those European rounds, looking really good in Manchester as well. Right now, Lauren Reynolds wants to chase her down, but being out front, first and second, definitely a good spot. And you want to get through that track, feel confident in your third run as well, Mike, because this is the last time they're going to race again until tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like the most important lap of the day. Kind of sets the tone for the weekend, and it gives you gate pick for tomorrow morning. So, important lap for these guys right now.
So you'll see your finalists there. Van Hoof takes the win. Reynolds with that second place finish, and then Dux from France is in third.
Thanks, Thomas, for the
French lesson.
Yes.
So get ready for heat number 4. We'll have an interview first before heat number 4 for Lauren Reynolds of Australia. In 5 seconds. 3, 2, go.
I have Lauren Reynolds with me. Lauren, you did a great job in the Australian Nationals. You came in first place, which is awesome. Congratulations. You want to tell us about them? I know you had a little problem with the weather there.
I didn't win the national championships. I won the overall series in the Continentals. So, but it was some great racing. We had some crazy weather, a lot worse than this. So, yeah, it was good. And yeah, on to the next one.
Yeah, well, good luck tomorrow. We hope you make it through.
Thank you very much.
So Lauren Reynolds, get a word from her, but we'll get ready for heat 4. Marie Della Pries, Gonzalez, Jones, and Van Hees. Kirsten Dellers had a good run. Nadia Pries has been looking well, but that young girl from Ecuador, Gonzalez, definitely turning a lot of heads out here on the track, Michael. Or not. If you paid attention, you'd know what these riders are doing out there. But you know, I'll steer the ship for a while.
Yeah, thanks. Getting cut for sure.
Better break that you better break that metal out. You're gonna need it soon. So here we go with heat number 4. Third run for the elite women, and definitely a good start here. That's going to be Priest from Germany getting out well. Oh, unfortunately right there, that's not what you want to do ever on any part of the track. And out front, benefiting from that, is going to be the Gonzalez from Ecuador, and then Van Hees is still going to be back there in that second place spot. So a lot of powers always has been, South America has been traditional for breeding up a lot of fast women. That's, a lot of fast riders, especially a lot of fast women. Mariana Pajon, the Diaz sisters, just a lot of fast people. And right now it looks like Gonzalez is following that tradition. Van Hees wants to put a stop to that right at the line, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be Gonzalez with the win, Van Hees in second, Deller from Australia in that third place spot, and then we'll see how the rest of the ladies that had accidents down that first straightaway, they can make it around the rest of the track. But third round, Mike, you really have to go all out if you're high in points and really want to move on in the program.
Yeah, obviously you could see they're taking a bit more chances because with the points being so scrambled, and if you do have high points, you got to take a couple risks to hopefully, put your nose in there. So it looks like everyone's up and okay, making their way around, so that's good.
So we'll get ready for heat number 5. Kaptanova, Bodarenko, Adaminka, Lubakova, Seiko. Come on, guys. Metamekins.
Oh.
No,
No,
probably not.
that's-
Sorry,
No,
France.
that's wrong.
That's not a French name.
It's close, though. You want to try it again?
No.
Australia coming through now.
Yeah.
So we're going to move across shortly to heat number 5. But still riding down on the back end.
So, 4th place in the pro downhill at the Sea Otter Classic. We're
Not bad, huh?
hype it up, dude.
Not bad.
4th place. Who was the winner?
Aaron Gwynn.
Who's in second? Come on.
I'm not
Really? I had something going here, but how about third?
Oh,
come on.
I
Any of you fans that get on the interweb, can you Google the pro men's downhill result at Sea Otter and then
Adam Craig got third.
direct message it to Mike Day, because we were going to talk about how he's always been one of the world's best BMXers. He's made that crossover to mountain bikes. 4th place is no joke. I've seen your complete run on the GT Bicycles fan page of somewhere. Pretty impressive.
They actually let you wear GoPros there, unlike here.
It's a safety regulation.
Yeah, it's safety regulation. They're riding a track and
Hey,
30-mile-an-hour winds, but we're worried
I
about
see the
safety
hook. Now
here.
I see the hook coming in.
I love it when they pull the safety card when you're riding down a Supercross ramp.
So, Michael,
Yes, Peter.
4th place at the downhill.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
Did you get some? Sea Otter's always been renownedly known, like you get a free set of tires or something for 4th place.
Yeah, a bunch of swag.
Did you get some
No, I did not.
Deaf Family gloves?
Oh gosh.
That's if you know when you made it when you get Deaf Family.
Yeah, but I'll take 4th. I was excited.
Hey,
Not
we were
bad.
excited for you.
It's a bit of a.
What about your? Who else was there? Who'd you beat? That's what I really want to know. Who'd you beat? Some of those big name guys like Steve Pete and Sean Palmer, Brian Lopes, Eric
No.
Carter, Mike King.
No, they were racing the vintage.
Toby
or they were
Henderson?
racing the Legends class.
Oh, that was an official thing.
That was, yeah. They had a
How'd
Legends
that go?
class. It was
Who
actually
won the
pretty cool.
Legends class?
I think Sean Palmer did.
Sean
Or
Palmer.
no, EC won.
Oh, well, the fans
EC.
love Eric Carter.
Yeah, we love EC.
Well, who'd you beat in the downhill? Let's throw out some big names. Come
No,
on, drop
I'm not
it.
doing it.
Drop the mic.
I had a great lap. We'll just go with that.
All right, the gate is down. Speaking of great laps, you're going to see one here. Heat 5, run 3, Bodarenko from Russia. Again, the Russian contingent of the women especially has been really strong. And right here, 1, 2, 3, Russia, Russia, Russia. The way they love to see it. The Russian powerhouse putting some nuclear power down that second straightaway. Right now, Bodarenko has herself a lead over Amanakinda and Kaptanova. Looks like a team parade out there, Michael.
Yeah, it's like a road race. Working together.
Where's the feed zone? Sawstone. So it's going to be Bondarenko with the win, Kaptanova in second, Amanda Kina in the third, and Lubakova for fourth. That right there will give you a lesson in enunciation.
I think you nailed it, Pete. Not
I'm
gonna lie.
on it. That Red Bull really helped me get through it. It makes you smart. What's it do? I might have to take another one. All right, we'll get ready for heat number 6 in these elite women. Thabut, Potier, Hill, Chavez, Taylor, Frangru. They are lined up in the gate, getting ready for their third run here today. And Papendal for the UCI BMX Supercross. Stop number 2. All right. Get your homework in. Stars, dude. So the gate drops, and it's going to be Potier on the inside, looking strong down that first straightaway. But she's going to be battling it out with High Boat from France. So it's two French girls really going head-to-head here, and then you're going to have Hill from New Zealand in that third-place spot. When you kind of get in these like single elimination laps, where it's just you, not single elimination, but when you're just kind of riding against one person, do you ride differently, Mike?
I don't think you ride differently, but you definitely protect the inside line on the straightaway and make sure that you ride the corner where that's going to give you the most exit speed for the next straightaway, especially here knowing the third straightaway is so big. So I don't think they're riding so defensively. More, I think the girls are almost riding to finish the lap at the moment with the wind being so all over the place. They don't feel very comfy, so it sounds like.
So Magali Poitier finishes up second in that run right behind Tharbot from France, and get a word from her. You know, she's been a consistent rider on this tour. Definitely one of the women that the fans like to hear from. Maybe we'll hear from her, maybe we won't. We got one race left for these elite women, and then we'll be done with their qualifying rounds. So we'll get ready for the last of the Heat 7 from the third run. Huseman, Diaz, Stansel, Smith, Espinoza, Karlov, and O'Keefe. Who's your pick, Michael?
I'm going to go with the 23, Jordan.
Tongue out?
Dunking.
Donuts?
No, she looks like, I mean, obviously the first two motos she had the best, so we'll see if she can kind of continue that and build a little confidence for the next one, and it looks like she is. Hits that first jump perfect. Like we said earlier, one of the only girls jump manualing it and the first girl to jump the triple into turn one, so it looks like she's in good form.
Yeah, so like we said before, this third round, last time these ladies will be on track today, not any way better than you could finish your day off than winning the lap as well as getting it as perfect as you can. Jumping that big triple step jump is impressive for anyone, but for one of these younger elite women to do it, Felicia Stansel's always had the skills, and right there she shows you what a really good lap in the elite women's class is going to look like, and something that's going to take her into tomorrow's final. So definitely a good run there from Felicia.
Yeah, pretty impressive actually. That with the conditions and how rough a couple of those motos look, for her to put that lap and jump that triple, I mean, it's going to be huge for her as she gets ready for tomorrow.
Definitely would like to get some insight for Felicia, what she thought of that lap there, because it was definitely interesting to see her get around it, ride it so exceptionally well, and as Mike alluded to, be the first woman to jump that triple jump going into today's races. So hopefully we'll get a word with her here in a moment. Here we go. Well, we did get a word. Let's get in Felicia Stansel from the United States.
Felicia, we normally see you in the time trials, but in this case, you're in the motos. Do you think it's an advantage to be in the motos this time?
I like the time trial, but it's fun just to get 3 extra laps, so I enjoy time trialing though.
Well, you blew everybody out of the water. You did awesome. Do you feel like the weather at all was affecting you with the high winds?
Yeah, it's very windy today, 20 miles per hour, but it's racing, so no matter what conditions, everyone races the exact same, so just have fun.
Well, the sun's shining on you now. Good luck tomorrow in the finals.
Thank you.
So now we're getting into the start of the last, this is complicated, third round of motos. This is the last run for these guys. They really got to make things happen. Someone who's been making it happen all day is Amelia Falla. He's got 2 good finishes. So we'll see how things work out. He's got some young guns, though. They're really going to be battling it out to get those low points. But right now, Emilio's sitting on 2 points. He just really has to have a consistent lap here. But again, he wants to have not only consistency, but be able to get first gate pick tomorrow. So he's gonna go out there and see if he can make things happen as it has for the earlier part of the day.
Yeah, it's hard when you have two good first motos and you know that you're in the race for tomorrow to kind of continue. You want to kind of save some energy, relax, but with being gate picked for tomorrow, you kind of got to let it out. So.
And one thing you'll notice about Amelia, he hadn't been the rider to the first turn first. He's always up in the front. but not in the first turn. And it could be another one of those guys that's riding a really big gear here. It's taking a little bit of time to get up. Right now, Harsman's really got himself a good lap going, and he's had two good laps as well. It looks like Harsman's going to take control as Amelia's back there in that second place spot. But Harsman's really running away with the win here in this third round of motos.
Man, that was a pretty impressive lap by him. So obviously good confidence builder in tomorrow. Kind of pretty much waxed that moto. So we'll see. We'll definitely see him in the races tomorrow, along with Fala.
So Harmison will take the win. Then there's going to be a photo finish between Surgers and Fala. We'll get ready as we get. Let's get a word here from one of our riders in that first moto.
We have yours here. Yours, how is it to ride in front of your hometown?
Oh, that's always good. It's really windy, especially this lap. Yeah, it was pretty sketchy on some moments, but it was good enough.
So this is not typical weather for you, or this is typical weather for you?
This is pretty typical weather. Well, we had sun yesterday and almost no wind, so that's a big difference, and probably it's going to be good tomorrow. So
we're all hoping for the sun tomorrow. Well, you did an awesome job. Thank you so much, yours.
So next up, we'll get to the next run here. You see the riders: Marino, Andre, Nobles, Peters, Matsushita, Richard, Tugas. So again, Barry Nobles is going to have to come through with a strong run. He's got 7 or 8 points. Eight points. 10 points is probably the cut, and he's in lane 3. But we'll see. I mean, all these guys want to do good. Nobody cares. There's not one. It's kind of one of those things. It's like you're friends, but you don't care. You don't want to see that your good competitor next to you in any race. And right now, those guys are really battling out. Sylvain Andre's never one to back down, and neither is Barry. But he's going to look like Sylvain Andre is going to go in that turn number 1. Nobles is going to be there battling out Marino for that second and third place spot, and it's definitely going to be a good battle to watch as those guys get around the rest of this track, Mike.
Yeah, Sylvain, like he has in the first 2, awesome gate, and as Pete said earlier, the French guys always excel in the rhythm section, but Barry's looking for one extra point just to feel a little bit better about himself. 11 with the 3s could be pushing it, but looks like that's what he's going to get.
So yeah, Sylvain Andre comes up with a good day. You can see Barry's kind of bummed. He puts his head down there. But Andre, Marino, Nobles, and then Peters will be your top 4 finishers in Moto number 2.
Number 39 from Junior World Champion 2010, one of the senior statesmen on the French team. Let's have a chat with Sylvain Andre.
So Sylvain Andre's had himself a really good day. Let's get a word in from Sylvain with our girl Lauren on the spot.
Sylvain, you did really great in the time trials in Manchester, and now you're back in the motos. How do you think you did in the motos this time round? And did you prefer to be in the time trials or in the motos?
Definitely, I wish I'd been in the time trial because it's like a rest day, but I got to be better in Manchester so I could do the time trial.
How do you think this track compares to the one in Manchester?
It's more wide open, so you get room to pass other people if you have like a bad gate or something. So it's different racing, but
Well, it seems to go really well with your style anyway, so great job.
Thank you.
So Sylvain Andre making his way through today's program. We'll get ready for heat number 3. Furlan, Reed, Pershot, Isendone, Dumaine, and Delure. Isidore. Yeah?
Sounds like you got him right. I'm just going to nod my head and go with it.
Daniel Lauer.
That's better. Just got to get a little roll.
Get a little Euro
Yeah.
in me. So the gate is down. It's going to be Dumain from France battling it out with Isidore, and he needs a good run here.
Oh.
And unfortunately right there, unclipping is not what he's going to do.
Oh.
It's going to get swallowed up in the pack and then goes down, and that's not something we definitely don't want to see. But on the BMX Supercross World Cup Tour, one small mistake, that's what happens unfortunately at times. But it's going to be the Canadian out front of Reed. Definitely where you want to be in that third run of motos. It's going to be Dumont in France back in second, and I guess Reed didn't want to be out front. He's going to relinquish the lead.
Man, that lap
back to
had
Dumain.
landmines everywhere, huh?
Sometimes those guys, the snakes are out there to bite you. And unfortunately, Dumain was able to negotiate around them. Furlan and Denular will be photo finish for that second place spot. Is this a hike bike?
Guess he doesn't want to finish, but you probably should try to get a couple extra points, right? If you cross the line. I think walking across, you get 2 extra. I don't know, though. I think he's had a rough go, so.
So get ready for heat number 4. Nagasako, Vanderputten, Turner, Tangier, Berra, Yoshimura. Or him.
He says it much better.
Nagasako on that inside again. One of those good up-and-coming riders from Japan. Spending a lot of time in Switzerland. Riding under the guidance of French. He's an international favorite. But Bodie Turner, he's a favorite of a lot of ladies because he's a friendly man. And right now he's
questionable Pete.
Out there with the lead. He's a nice guy.
Evil Evo in the number 2 spot. Making his one Supercross a year appearance, and it looks like he's going to have enough points to carry on for tomorrow. But as we talked about earlier, the big gear of Bodie seems to be working out. We'll see how that kind of works tomorrow when it gets, a little bit with all the fast guys and the pressure of quarters and semis. But it looks like today made it work for him.
Yeah, so Bodie Turner takes the win. Vanderputten in second, and then Nagasako just ahead of Yoshimura for that 4th place spot. Is it like at the beef ball? Or the suspension company? Hops. Herman's got hops.
Birthday boy.
So let's get a word from Michael's pick of that great last moto. Bodie Turner from Australia. Get some insight from him on his day so far.
I'm here with Bodie Turner, who's Australia's national champion. Congratulations on that.
National Series champion.
National Series champion, exactly. And he did amazing in the motos. You came first, second, and then first again. You absolutely rocked it. I saw you behind the scenes listening to some music. What's your secret? Is it the music?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, a bit of dance music gets me going, but no, I feel all right. Just a bit slow first 2 motos out of the gate, but turned it on that one, pulled the horses out. It was good.
So I guess with this track, you can not have the best start and still rock it.
Yeah, I do love that, running the bigger track rather than Manchester's tight track. Gives you a bit more room to move, and yeah, if you mess the gate up, you can kind of pull back, which is good.
Well, great. You did awesome, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Bodie Turner, moving on in the program. We'll get ready for Heat 5. It's going to be Bensick, Zula, Cameron, Remertz, Upshaw, Brown, and Webster.
Upshaw needing a good lap to move on. I think he was involved in the first moto kind of crash in the last corner, or the first corner, I'm not sure, but I think he got third that last one. So he's going to need a top 2 to move on. But we'll see how that goes. Looks like he's put goggles on from the wind.
Yeah, he rode really strong. He really impressed a lot of people in Manchester, and he's always an impressive rider on the track. So we'll see how things work out for him as they get ready to drop the gate for their 3rd run, moto number 5 in the elite men's class today. So right now he's out there. It's going to be battling with Cameron down that first straightaway. Can he edge him out? We'll see how things work out for him as they go into turn 1. And just as Mike said, he's going to need to get a good run. Can't get much better than out in the lead, but he's only halfway through the track. And as we said, anything can happen. He's still up there battling with that second place spot. Definitely would want to get that finish in front, but we'll see how things pan out for him around the rest of the track. Looks like another little bobble. And Bensick's out front. You're going to have Cameron back in second. And it looks like, I'm not sure if Upshaw's still up there in that third place spot or not, but right now it's going to be Bensick with the win. Cameron in second. Zula comes across with the third place finish. Then Upshaw will have to settle for fourth that round. So to be able to ride this track all the time definitely gives you a little bit of advantage, and we'll get some of that insight here from Bensick. Definitely a staple on the World Cup Tour, but as well as here right in Netherlands to see, get some feedback on how things went for him today here on the track in Papendal. Get a word from him with Lauren in just a second or two for you fans.
Niels, you did some awesome passing in the crossover section. Do you want to walk us through the last moto?
What a decent start. Followed Matt and Jeff on the second straight. We had some massive side wind on the crossover, and Jeff messed up, so I could take the inside and wrote the lap out pretty clean, so happy.
So in this case, the weather's working for you?
Yeah, we're used to the wind here. It's always windy in Papendal.
Well, I guess it's nice to do this in front of your hometown, on your home track, and you did an awesome job, so we'll see you tomorrow in the finals.
Thank you.
So Niels Bensick definitely excited to take the win there in that third round of motos. He'll be moving on in the program. So we get ready for Heat 6. Mayette, Fatoni, Herman, Jones, Strongbergs, and Waktai. Marquet from Sweden. Wakta. Who's your pick, Michael? It's teammates. It's David Herman and Stormy.
It's kind of hard to not pick Stromberg, I guess, but yeah, I mean, you can never bet against him, but I'm sure Herman's going to give him a little something down the front straightaway, and it looks like, yeah, oh, Herman kind of messing up on that first jump, but Stromberg is so good from the outside here.
So, Stormy, a little bit caught sleeping there, as Jones really want to let the fans know he's out there. Herman gets around Stormy as well. I'm not sure if something happened, but right now it's going to be Jones out there with the lead. Herman in that second place spot. Looks like Stromberg slipped back to fifth. I'm not sure what happened. But Jones, Herman, Maillet will be your top three. Then Waktai for fourth. And Stromberg's in fifth. I think he had a couple of 2 points, but still seven will probably let him make his way through. But we'll get a word in here from our birthday boy, number 5. That's going to be David Herman from the US of A.
We have David Herman here again, and it's your birthday. It's been mentioned a bunch of times. Do you feel any different today?
This win makes me feel old, but I just wanted to give myself one victory lap today, and I was able to get that out of the way first round, and I just want to race tomorrow without the wind.
Well, we think it's going to be sunshine, but we're not sure, so we can't promise you that. But do you enjoy this track over the one in Manchester? There's a lot more room. It's a bigger track. Do you feel like you do really well here?
I've got one podium here before, and I prefer racing outdoors, and you can open up on this track, so I'm looking forward to racing tomorrow.
Well, we hope it's a really good birthday present for you tomorrow to qualify or to place.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Happy birthday!
So, David Herman lets fans know. So we'll get ready with Heat 7. Mort, Jaspers, Dave Chappelle, Kringers, Manitone, Shira. I like to be consistent. And de Sola Filabala Ezequiel from Brazil. Corbin needs to have a good run here. Last lap was not what he wanted. first lap was good for him, so we'll see. He's going to be on the bubble if he doesn't come out with a
With an
top
ace.
2.
Yeah.
So we'll see how things work out. He's out there in lane 7. I'm going to let you call this one, Michael.
Thanks,
It's all you.
Peter. Yeah, it looks like Corbin coming out of the gate. And like we've talked about earlier, it's so much pressure when you actually have to have it. But when you do get that gate when you need to have it, it's the best feeling. It's the best when, you know, obviously builds the most confidence leading in tomorrow. So I feel Corbin, after having that rough lap, he's not known to have 2 bad laps in a row. He's so smooth. So kind of going to run it through the rhythm section, take his ace, and move on for tomorrow's activities.
Yeah, so it's definitely the way you expect to get a lap out of Corbin after one of those, you know,
Bad
small
ones.
little incidents, but he comes back out strong, winning that 3rd round of motos, moving on in the program. Jasper's from the Netherlands here as well, getting that 2nd place spot. Then Esquiquil Zorval from Brazil in the 3rd.
What was that?
That guy.
Yeah, him.
And then Dave Chappelle, unfortunately, didn't get the way he wanted. But let's get an interview with Jaspers to see how he's felt here after his good day of riding here in Papendal for the 2nd stop of the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour.
Martin, you came in first, 2nd and 1st. You did an awesome job. How do you think you did?
Yeah, it goes really well. It's tricky with the wind, but I really like it like this. But I prefer no wind for tomorrow.
So what did you do to prepare for this race in Holland?
Yeah, we're used to this. We train to this. So the last couple of weeks I've been here quite some time riding with the wind, so we know what to expect. But like yesterday, no wind for racing and for everybody, that's the best.
So the secret is to come a little bit earlier and to climatize to what's going to happen.
Yeah, I live like 50 minutes from here, so it's not a lot of climatizing.
Right. Well, that makes it easy for you then. Congratulations on making it to the next round.
Thank you.
So, getting ready for the next run here in Elite Men. It's heat number 8. You're going to have Resende, Klashenko, Vanderbiesen, Sakabara, Bruthauer, Mandermakers, and Warnier. Those are your riders in run number 3. And the Meerkat fans are pumped, Mike Day.
Always.
Double stream. Double dip.
For what?
Fans. Okay, run 3. Your teammate, Resende 500. You got one of those hats yet? Those are nice. Get the Resende 500
No,
official
I don't have
souvenir
a
wear.
500 hat now.
You should really talk to him about it.
Yeah, I'll hit him up after
you guys do team cooldown later. So right now it's going to be Klashenko from Russia jumping out, I believe. No, it's going to be Bruthauer from Germany, excuse me. He's going to be the guy out front, and right there, he's going to shut it down, do a little bit of air braking. And Resende 500's never one to shut it down as he's going to come through the pack. But right now they're going to be chasing Bruthauer around the track here in Papendal.
Bummer for Bruthauer after those first 2 motos. He needed a good one, and he was winning it until that big head went out of the 2nd straightaway. It looks like it pushed him all the way back to 4, so not quite sure if that's going to be enough, but we'll see.
Mike, you're slacking. So, Sakabara from Australia. We'll take the win. Resende 500 gets 2nd. So we move on to Heat 9. It's going to be Palmer, Anderson, Luque, Link, Komrova, Shippers, and Dumont. Those are your guys. Pay attention, Michael. James Palmer's been riding good. He wants to make his way through, so we'll see how things pan out. As the gate drops for Heat 9, his gate wasn't that good, but again, and that guy from Denmark definitely looking good. But it's going to be a good run here. These riders all need the points. So Anderson, Link, and Komarova will battle it out down that 2nd straightaway. The wind's definitely picked up a little bit here in the later part of the afternoon. But we're almost done with these 18 rounds of motos. So we're halfway through these elite men's motos. But right now it's a good battle for that overall lead. Who wants it? Who needs it? It's going to be Link making his way around and grabbing himself the victory in lap number 3. Fans are pumped. You're really going to have to start contributing, Michael.
Thanks, Peter.
Fortunately for Palmer, it looks like he's holding his ankle. Not sure if those 4 additional points are going to help him or not move on in the program. Hopefully everything's all right, and he will do so. But we'll get ready for the next round of Moto. Heat 10 here. Riccardi, Blanc, Lapraz, Freiswick, Duche, and Kadyshev. Freiswick definitely riding strong. Riccardi's definitely looked well. Lapraz has been up there as well, so this will be a good lap here as those riders make their way down. Looks like it's going to be Lapraz getting himself a good start, but then right to the inside of him, look like it's going to be Blanc. So 2 Swiss riders battling it out, and then Freiswick in that 3rd place spot right now, Mike.
Yeah, it looks like with a massive headwind out of turn 1, it looks like all these guys are starting to case that first jump and having to pull up super high on that second one. But Blanc's super technical and definitely has the skill. So look for him to, if he doesn't get good starts tomorrow, to definitely be one to pick his way through the pack. Praz gave him a little heat in the last corner, but Blanc to the finish line. So good for him. On to the motos tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll be Blanc, Lapraz, Riccardi, Duche. Freiswick has to settle for 5th that round. And that's the way those guys finish up here in their 3rd run on the track. So we'll get a word from Renaud Blanc from Switzerland. He lives near Mont Blanc. That's in France, actually. I've been there, and I have a pen.
I'm sure you did.
So get ready from Renaud Blanc. Let's get a word from him on today's racing here in Papendal.
I'm here with Reno, and he just did an amazing job. We want to talk to you about your last lap. Please walk us through it.
It was very windy, but I did the clean up. I'm happy, and hopefully the weather will be better for tomorrow.
Do you prefer to ride outside, or do you like the track better in Manchester?
I prefer to ride outside, but with a good weather.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're hoping for the good weather tomorrow. Thank you.
So we'll get ready for heat number 11 here in the elite man. Callan, Van der Wurst, Molina, Messer, Gain, Jarre, Blumang, and slots. Mike's little buddy, Sean Gain, number 175, had that good run there second round. He's going to need, first lap was his good run. What did he get second lap, Michael? 5th. So he's really going to need to put it together. But if anyone can, it's Sean. Sean's a very headstrong young man. And let's see how things pan out for him. But he's got 7 of the world's fastest riders next to him here as we get through the qualifying rounds at round number 2 of the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour. As the gate drops, the wind picks up, but right now it looks like it's going to be Gain and Molina. They're going to be battling going to turn 1, and then Jerry is going to be up there as well and see how those guys can work it out. But Molina from Argentina, definitely one of those riders that's been riding well. These guys, as you said, Mike, that headwind has got to be tough, and it's changing the way they're riding around the track a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been changing all day, so to be all of a sudden come out of the first turn in the 3rd one when you're kind of stressing for points and all of a sudden have a huge headwind can kind of throw you off. So pretty good lap. Callan always wanted to pedal to the finish line. He might have squeaked in there. But Sean with a 3 spot, so we'll see if that's enough.
Yeah, so it'll be Molina, Callan, and then Gain for your top 3, and then Van der Wurst for that 4th place result. So how do you know when you're riding in the track and the weather conditions, you know, this is a place where, you know, it's notorious for that swirling wind, not necessarily. How can you adjust it? You know, what do you really do to ride differently when you get that wind other than really slowing down and not hitting the bigger jumps?
Well, I don't think that's really an option for these guys. So, I mean, I guess you get behind the gate, you look at the flags that are blowing, kind of making a game plan beforehand, and then I mean, to be at this level and to get into the races tomorrow, you got to take some chances. So obviously it helps the bigger guys. You can you don't get blown over so much, but little guys like Sean definitely gets tossed around a bit in the wind.
One of the biggest guys out on the track making a big exclamation point of how he's riding this week is Nick Kimman, the youngster, making his way into the elite class after winning that junior world championship. Right now is having a good race with Carlos Ramirez. Both of these guys got great points, and they're really battling it out all the way around the track. Both of them want to win. They both are moving on in the program right now, so it's great to see that. And you got Laustin from Denmark in that third-place spot. But it'll be Carlos Ramirez taking the win away from Nick Kimman as they cross the line. Laustin in third and Duchenne in that fourth. So Nick Kimman, as we said, he's got that big style, really big, fast riding style. He's a bigger rider. Definitely been doing really well. Let's get a word from him on seeing his perspective of how things went for him today here in Papendal in the wind. Supercross stop number 2.
So Nick, that was a really awesome battle between you and Carlos. Do you want to walk us through it?
My gate was good, but on the second straight I felt a lot of wind. Went a little sketchy, didn't jump the crossover. Didn't have too much speed, and Carlos came on the inside, tried to stay safe behind him, and I made it through to tomorrow.
Well, you made it through tomorrow, so that's awesome, and you came in second, which is also awesome. Do you have your friends and family here watching you this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of Dutch guys, so that's always good.
Well, give it up for Nick, guys.
Nick Kimman definitely stepping up his program from that junior class to the elite men's class, and he's definitely looking strong here this weekend.
Super hard to just go from junior class to elite class and start not only making mains, but he's already won a European round. So it usually takes a couple years to kind of get your feet wet and see how fast the elites really are. And for him to just already be leading a European point is pretty impressive.
So we'll get ready for our next round with Vandenberg, Posey, Villegas, Schwab, Caron, Svub, Scotchman. Those are your 7 riders in the gate for Heat 13. So it's definitely going to be a good lap here. Again, Posey had that crash in lap number 1 just like he did in Manchester, but then he came back with the win, and right now he's set his sights on grabbing another one as he's out front, but he's got a good battle on his hands with Vandenberg. Bumping his way past Posey. A little bit of a bobble there. It's definitely not what you want to do. You want to stay up front. Right now it looks like Posey's going to be, he slipped back a little bit. I think he's slipped back into that 4th place spot, but right now Vandenberg and then has Villevaz, Svab are their top 3 riders. So Vandenberg will take the win. Villegas second, Svab in 3rd. Schwab will get the 4th. 5th is going to go to Scotchman. It's definitely not what Justin Posey wanted to wind up with, 7th. So we'll see how things work out as the points are tabulated here after that 3rd round.
So much time to be made or lost in that crossover section, especially with the wind. People are kind of transferring in and out of the way, and you could see that Posey got, rode underneath, pushed up, and all of a sudden he's clipped out from first to last real quick, and that looks like it's going to be a weekend for Justin.
So we'll get ready with Heat 14. Anthony Dean, Daniel Franks, Viede dos Reis, Gearing, Navlaka. From the inside, you will see the power of Anthony Dean from Australia, number 144. Going into that first turn, he's going to be there with Dos Reis from Brazil. They're really going to battle it out. And then you have Dan Franks in that 3rd place spot.
You could see Anthony's kind of one of the bigger guys, so it doesn't seem like the wind's affecting him as much as some of the other guys. So super smooth so far, and he looks like, from just watching today, a guy to be in the main event tomorrow.
So Anthony Dean's going to run away with his 3rd moto, taking that victory. As Mike said, that physique of his puts him in the 1st place spot. Daniel Franks from New Zealand, one of those stylish riders, gets 2nd. Dos Reis is in there for 3rd from Brazil, and Viade from Latvia will be your 4th place finisher. But Mike, when you go into that 2nd turn, if you don't have a slight lead, what's the safe line? Because I've seen guys get past that were high in the line, low in the line. I mean, it's really more about carrying your speed than where you line up.
Yeah, the crossover jump, it kind of feels like a hit, but you don't so you want to jump it and obviously hip to the left, but it goes straight. So you need to kind of aim for the inside there and cut as much track off as you can. You see a lot of guys that hip over, they jump 5 feet to the left, and it gives the guys behind them a straight shot to the inside. So to make the track as short as you possibly can is the line through there, I feel.
All right now, as we get ready for this next run, it's going to be Jared Garcia and Romain Maheu battling it out into turn number 1.
Nice.
Right there, Garcia sticks his front wheel out in front of everybody. He's not afraid. He knows he needs those points. And Jared Garcia, the Jet, is out there in front. Romain Maheu from France is in that second place spot. And it looks like it's going to be Racine in the third place.
The Jet coming with a bad last lap, so definitely take that little chance. You could see him jump that triple and take an extra pedal into turn 1, which worked out for him. So sticking his nose in there, he's one of the guys that needs a wide open track. He's so smooth once it's opened up. So for him, this track's perfect. So see the Jet making a main wouldn't be a surprise tomorrow.
So Garcia, Maheu, and Racine, those will be your top 3 finishers there in qualifier number 14.
I hope they interview the Jet. The best interviews of all time come from the Jet.
Bogle?
What?
Jared Bogle?
Yeah.
So good to see Benjamin Bedou back up. Crashing is definitely not something you want, but anytime you're able to ride away from a crash, it's definitely the best of that situation that you could make. So we'll get ready for heat number 16. Davenard, Pettigrew, Chavlin, Bindelas, Godet, Lopez, Tehinko. What kind of mindset do you have to have, Mike? Go in, even if you have, let's just say you have high points and you know you don't have a way to make it through, but how do you really force through that when you're in your third round to use that last lap, at least, if nothing else, some training to get, a little bit more experience if you're a younger guy, or just really walk away from what might have been a bad weekend and make it feel a little bit successful?
Yeah, I mean, you can use it as a learning tool. I mean, if you have high points, obviously with so many fast people, it's a good test just to kind of get in the gate with these guys, and you can, use everything as learning and use it for your advantage. I mean, obviously you're probably a bit bummed out the weekend didn't go as well, but you can always use each and every lap as a bit of a learning experience and try to build off of that into training for the next one.
You see right here, Tenard from France getting around, and then Pettigrew, like I said, had that one bad lap. He comes back, he fights his way through for that second place spot. Godet will be in third. Bindelas was up there. It looks like he had, unfortunately, crashed somewhere on the track. That's going to be the end of his weekend, unfortunately. But again, it's like you got to walk away, I would think, Mike, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, walk away, even with a bad result, to learn something. The learning experience is what's going to help you become a better rider.
Yeah, it took me a while to learn, but I would used to get, if I had a bad weekend, would get so frustrated and kind of beat myself up. But you always do something that you can build on. So if you kind of sit back and kind of think of something that was well that you did, it's a lot easier for you to build and use that kind of as a bit of momentum into the next one, besides just dwelling on all the bad laps that you had. Or because here the wind is playing such a big factor that a lot of your mistakes you wouldn't have if it was perfect out. So kind of chalk it up as a rough weekend, build on it, and kind of get ready for the next one.
So here we go with the second to last of the elite men's qualifying motos, and right now it's going to be a good run out there for Pizarro from Argentina. He's got a Montenegro from Argentina right there in that third place spot as Clarion gets around him and he moves into second. But he's one of those guys, as you said, Mike, he's just a smart rider, always making his way around. But right now, no one's able to get around Pizarro as they go into that third straightaway. But this is where moves can happen. And just as we say that, Clarion gets around him and he takes the lead.
All the French guys are so technically sound around the track. So, not a surprise that Clarion white lines the berm to exit with some speed into the rhythm section. So good lap for him. So definitely another guy that could swerve his way into the semis and make it to the final tomorrow.
So it was a French-Argentinian triumph there, as it was Clarion, Pizarro, Rencule, and Montenegro. Those were your top 4 riders. And then the next two, Riccardi and Kurmaz, those are French guys as well. And you said A lot of style out there as we get ready. This is the last of the qualification rounds. Heat number 18. You see Luckhurst, Van der Weer, Van der Huygen, Kimmen, Lenegard, Velia, Meyer, and Luque. The last of the elite men's qualifiers, and we're going to have a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back for those super final time trials. Top 8 women, top 16 men, but right now let's let the last of the elite men's qualifiers, third round here. Lenegard from France had an early lead, but it looks like it's going to be the Brazilian of Villela getting out into turn number 1 with the lead. Taking over Van der Huygen, he moves into that second place spot, and then in third, going to be Lenegard. So a lot of younger riders in this moto, Mike, but definitely a lot of skill out there as well. You can see these guys riding really well on the big bad Papendal Supercross track. But Verliala from Brazil with the lead. He's going to lead from start to finish. That's definitely an impressive way to wrap up the day for yourself. Then you got Van der Huygen in that second place spot, and then the younger of the Kimmen brothers in third, with Luckhurst from Great Britain in the fourth place result. So that wraps it up for the qualification rounds, Mike. Who's your standout in the elite men there overall for today?
I think Anthony Dean was the one that kind of looked the most sound. You could tell he was a bit more confident with the wind and the setting here. I mean, he was riding the track really well. Didn't look like too many issues, so I would have to say he was the standout. Obviously, you can't bet out Maris. He's always one that kind of just gets the ball rolling slow, and by the time it counts, he's the man when the pressure's on. So can't count him out. Herman, from what I talked to him earlier, didn't feel very well, but he had a couple good laps, and obviously Barry coming through. So.
All right, so that, as Mike said, Anthony Dean looks strong in the women's class. I think it would be Felicia Stansel looked really well,
sure.
and she had that strong finish on that third round. So what we have now, this is the warm-up for the men and women that are pre-qualified for those super final time trials. We're going to take a 15-minute break. We're going to come back, and then we'll have those super final time trials live. Pete Delusky joined by Mike Day. It's been awesome to have you in here. If this is the worst you're going to be all
If
year,
I don't get fired, I'll be back.
Fans are just going to be pumped
trials.
because you've been doing a great job. So, yeah, we'll be back in a little bit to give you those super final time trials for the elite men and elite women. But we'll get you a commercial in, and then we'll be back later on.
From the shores of the Caspian Sea, in the ancient land of Azerbaijan, rises the first European Games. Be part of sporting history in Baku this June. The European Games, Baku 2015, rise to the occasion. From the shores of the Caspian Sea, in the ancient land of Azerbaijan, rises the first European Games. Be part of sporting history in Baku this June. The European Games, Baku 2015, rise to the occasion.
Welcome back. Getting ready for the Superfinal time trials. Riders are on the track getting warm-ups, and you'll see we'll have those 8 fast women. Those are the 8 women from the main event in Manchester. That's how these women are seated by points. So we have Brooke Crane, Danny George, Marilee Van Bentham, Natalia Sarova, Mariana Pajón, Stephanie Hernandez, Elise Post, and the winner of Stop 1 for those elite women, Caroline Buchanan. Then we'll move on to the top 16 elite men, but just the conditions have changed just a little bit out here in the last few moments. A little bit of drizzle came. The wind's about the same, but getting things lined up. You see Brooke Crane, the Visalia Vixen, lined up. She's going to be the first of our women to go for today's Superfinal time trial, and you can see things are. Now it's all about one rider at a time, Mike. Just making your mark. You or a time trial specialist.
Don't do it. You did it. The specialist.
Got to get it out of the way.
Jeez.
You were a BMX specialist, but you were time trial super specialist. And so Brooke Crane on course now for her Superfinal time trial. Mike, talk us through her lap here.
Yeah, you could tell. Obviously, these girls haven't gone through the motos that everyone else has, so they're still adjusting to a bit of wind. They only rode warm-up for about 10 minutes before this lap, so you could tell they're after riding all day yesterday in absolute perfect conditions. You could see Brooks didn't quite clear the first straightaway very well, and but it looks like she's starting to smoothen it out a little bit. Kind of bonking into the last corner. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do that and post a good time, but I think for these girls, it's just play it safe and get to the race tomorrow. So I think Brooks is going to be slightly bummed with that, but she's going to set the time.
So she has the fastest time, Mike. She's going to be pumped to be in the hot seat, which is a cow, which I don't understand one
We're
bit
a bit confused by the cow at the
Not
finish
sure.
line here.
But Brooke Crane, today's fastest first woman of cross. So you'll see that green helmet or a red helmet pop up. The green helmet indicates that rider on course at the time has the faster of the times posted so far. But let's hear a word from Brooke right now on her lap.
Can you talk so I can hear?
All right, so we'll get to number 7 in the elite women's Superfinal time trial. It's going to be Danny George, Mike.
Yeah, Danny's definitely over the last year and a half been picking it up. I'm not quite sure why she's picking the outside. I mean, with the turns being such wide open, that it seems like you're kind of giving time away starting on the outside. But we'll see if she can make it work. I mean, hopefully, hits the gate a little bit. So that's definitely not how she wanted to start this lap. As Danny goes into the first corner, that was a pretty rough first lap. Like we talked about earlier, these girls are going to have issues just due to the fact that they're not used to the conditions so far today, unlike all the other girls that did the moto. So Danny starting to smooth it out a little bit, but having a rough go. She sits in second as of right now.
Yeah, all the riders had practice today way before the racing started, and then these riders that are in the Superfinal time trial just got a little bit of a warm-up in that last 10 minutes during that break. But as you said, completely different conditions, and unfortunately for Danny, that's definitely not the way you wanted to start things out. Second place in these time trials of Brooke Crane will retain the Moo Moo hot seat.
So far, it seems like both the girls are having a bit of issues with the wind, so we'll see the local here, if she can smooth it out.
Yeah, so Marilee Van Bentham, definitely one of those fast riders. She's been out here before. She's been on the podium before. It's been a little bit of time since she's been on the podium. I think it's 2013 was the last time she podiumed at a Supercross, but definitely one of those fast women, and she's been out here training after recovering from an injury-filled season last year. She definitely wants to get through today's event, strong and clear. She is the national champion, so we'll see how things work out as she gets ready for her super final. Definitely looks fast down that first straightaway so far. She's going to ease into turn number 1. I believe we'll see that green helmet pop up. Yes, we do. So she's got the fastest time at this point, Mike, but it's a long track here in Papendal.
Yeah, and if these girls were smart, the girls coming up, they'd kind of see her line because she has the most time here. So she knows, obviously, how to carry speed around the track. getting a little squirrely at the beginning of that rhythm section, which should hurt her a little bit, but still looks like the green helmet should be hers come finish line.
So coming down there, she's lost some time. That red helmet pops up. Brooke Crane might not have had the best lap, but right now she didn't have the best lap because Marilee Van Bentham passes back. But you see the times are pretty close in this girls' class because she had the lead through most of the track, lost it through that third straightaway where you mentioned, Mike. She didn't get the smoothest run through there, but she walks away at the end with that fastest time. So we'll get a little bit of insight from Meryl on her lap and how it went for her.
I have Merle here. She's huffing and puffing. Your face is all red. The track seems super dangerous because of the wind. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's affecting us a lot. Just trying to keep it smooth, but that didn't work out, but had a good lap.
You had an amazing lap, actually, and you're sitting here in the hot seat, so congratulations, Merle. We'll hope to see you go on to the next round, I guess.
All right, up next. This is one of those surprise, not so much a surprise, but powerful rider to come through the system. Natalia Sorova from Russia definitely made her statement, making that final in Manchester. Made a couple of finals last year as well. She's a national champion of Russia as well, but she's definitely been one to turning around her eyes around. She moved from Russia. She lives at the UCI Training Center. She's under the wing of Thomas Allier for her training, and it really looks like it's paying off. We'll see how things go for her right now, as it looks like a lot of these girls may be able to best that time, but it's going to be all on the weather conditions and just getting that perfect lap in, Michael.
Yeah, and so far it looks like she's been the smoothest, coming up a bit short on that one. And she's kind of jumping in that first corner. As you can tell, see how she goes so high in the first corner. With the turns here being so big, it kind of pushes you to use them, but you can cut so much time and so much length of the track, which is time. So not the best line through the first turn. A bit struggling through the rhythm section, but I think it's has mostly to do with the weather conditions, and the girl's just not feeling comfortable yet.
Yeah, these times are really close, but right now looks like she's gonna be the third fastest time across the line. But definitely, the time's pretty close there. But when we get to the men's times, they're all gonna be within the same second. But either way, good lap to get out of the way, move on in the program, and right now, Marilee will still be in that Moo hot seat. Next up, any true fan of Supercross knows number 100, the queen of BMX, Mariana Pohon. You see the resume. You don't need to go past line number one.
Yeah.
You don't need to go past line one. 2012 Olympic champion, past Supercross overall champion. Mariana looking to go out there and set a fast lap. Let's watch it, and let's get Mike's insight on champion to champion on how her run goes for her.
I like how she's picking the inside, like we talked about. It's just a much better corner into the first corner. You can cut off so much time. She's the only girl to hit the triple going into turn one. She's hit all the backsides. Perfect carve through the first corner with great exit speed. And she's built to win every time trial. She hits the track so smooth, and you can see that she's definitely way ahead of the other girls so far.
Yeah, last year she had a little bit of trouble. She had a crash throughout the race. Still made her way into the final, unclipped down that first straightaway. But right now she's having no problem with the track. Coming across the line with the fastest time. She's going to move in. Look how much time she took off. Almost 3
hard to beat.
full seconds off of Van Bentham's time. Mariana Pohon, that was just a perfect lap. And there's a huge difference, as you can see. Not only she had a perfect lap, but doing that jump for the women into the first turn. How much more momentum will that carry for you around this track?
Not only momentum out of the corner, but it takes a lot of commitment to jump it, so you're fully committed down the front straightaway, and that's, I mean, you used to be able to get away with having a good first straightaway and a decent first straightaway and kind of work the rhythm section in the corner, but now you need a spot on front straightaway, and when you jump that triple, you're definitely committed to that.
All right, well, now we have just 3 women left, and these are our podium makers from stop number 1. This is going to be Stephanie Hernandez, another girl that uprooted from Venezuela to move to Switzerland to live at the UCI Training Center, fully committed. That first podium in Manchester is definitely exciting, and let's see if she's able to beat out Mariana as she gets ready for her Superfinal time trial here in Papendal. A little bit of a different style of riding for her. Mariana has a fluid style where it doesn't really look as she's going as hard, but you can see right there, same result down that first straightaway, jumping her way into the first turn, Mike.
Yeah, so far fairly smooth. Not quite as fluid as Mariana was, but she's hitting all the triples. Great, low in the corners, carrying good speed into the rhythm section. Seems to be, clearing most of the jumps. Couple bonks here and there, but so far a fairly good lap, giving the wind conditions so far.
Coming out of that last turn, she's going to be sitting in that second place spot right now. Is she going to be able to make up that time difference? I don't think so. No, she's going to be off, as you see there, almost 1 3/4 seconds. And Mariana just had a stellar run. Definitely looked really good. You see Stephanie look back there like she left something out on the track, but someone who didn't leave anything out on the track right there, Mariana Pajon. Let's get a word from her on her picturesque, perfect run here in Papendal.
So Mariana, you caught a lot of air there on your time trial lap. Was that because of the wind, maybe?
Yeah, you have to just go for it and don't think about it. And I think I'm small to just go there and go for those triples and doubles. I just enjoy this track.
You glad it's over?
I don't know. Well, I'm just doing my best, and let's see what happens tomorrow.
Well, so far, it's the best.
So Mariana Pajon has the lead so far, but we have two deadly weapons up on top of that hill. Starting out with Elise Post, number 11. She was second in Manchester. Really, really fast on the track. You can see her well. Definitely one of those ones to look out for. And then after her, Caroline Buchanan, the fastest woman in the world right now. But as we get Elise was the one that really opened the eyes to a lot of people, of women going big on this track. Jump into the first turn like 2 or 3 years ago in that final, and just jumping away from everybody else on her way to victory. So she's won on this track before. Can she do it today in the time trial? We'll see as we get ready for her Superfinal time trial. So a little bit of an over jump, Mike. Why does that happen? Are you trying that hard that sometimes you just miss your timing? Why, how is it that can happen sometimes?
Yeah, I think obviously Elise she's a better racer than she is at time trial. She's never been known for a time trial. She's super powerful out of the gate when it comes to elbow racing. So definitely this isn't what I would consider to be a good lap for Elise. She kind of overjumped that jump, but it's hard when you're by yourself. You don't feel like you're going. You kind of use other people's energy for when you're in racing, and when you're by yourself, it's easy to make mistakes, as you saw her on that first jump.
Yeah, so she'll come across the line with that third place time. She was in the second place time a lot, right up to the very end. And as Mike said, not being able to gauge yourself off someone else, you can get in a little bit of trouble, but still a solid run. I mean, she overjumped that, but she was able to regroup and get through the rest of the track good. So someone who's been just one unstoppable force on any BMX track lately, Caroline Buchanan. She beat out Mariana Pajon for the Superfinal time trial win in Manchester right now, and the final. Right now, it's woman against woman, number 1 versus number 1. For today's Superfinal time trial victory, Caroline Buchanan from Australia. Can she beat out Mariana Pajon? We'll find out here in just about 32 seconds.
I like her gate choice going inside. It seems like, the smart one when you're cutting off time of the track, but has a terrible second jump, not able to jump that triple. Definitely not what she's looking for. She kind of races the time trials to win all of them, and I don't think that first straight's going to cut it.
Yeah, right now she's sitting in the 4th place in the time sectors. There's 4 sectors on the track. She's in that 4th place spot. Will she be able to make it up? If anywhere, she can gain some time in here, but that's definitely not going to help, and it looks like she's going to shut it down. So I know
it's so hard when you start out the lap bad and you're like, all right, I'm going to try to regroup, but you just end up pushing it too hard and making too many mistakes, and you could tell by her lap it was just one after another. So definitely not what she wanted, but I think her big goals are tomorrow's racing.
Yeah, so today's unstoppable force in the Elite Women's Superfinal time trial is going to be Mariana Pajon from Colombia, that queen of BMX, taking today's win. We'll get a word in here with her second, but that's a way to start the weekend off, and let's hear how excited she is about today's victory.
Mariana, this was your first time winning since 2013 in the time trials, and last year you were in the qualifying rounds. How does it feel to win the hot seat and to win the time trials?
It's good. I'm super proud. I did a really bad race last year, so I wanted to put it together this year, and I'm always doing my best. I'm really enjoying this track. It's windy, but I don't care. I'm just going to do my best.
Well, you definitely made up for it this year. Congratulations, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Always excited about the race, but what could make you more excited, Mike, than starting the weekend off with a win in those Superfinals?
It gives you good energy. I mean, you could sleep well tonight. You know you're riding well. If you could deal with the conditions that we're having today, it makes tomorrow just so much easier. So good for her. And now I'm looking forward to the guys. I mean, the track here for the guys is a bit different with the crossover. A lot of area for time to be made. And I guess we'll see Graf up first.
And lost, yeah. So we'll have our top 16. We'll start with David Graf from Switzerland. You can see right there, he's been in the final before in the Supercross series. He's the current national champion of Switzerland and definitely had a good run there. Just missed out on that main event, but he's still sitting top 16 overall in the series. And, you know, one bad race won't lose you a season, but we'll see how things can turn around. He's still a young rider. He definitely has a lot to prove of himself, but right now he's going to be, I believe this is the first time he's been in a Superfinal, so we'll see how things work out as David's lined up in the gate for today's Superfinal for Elite Men, Mike.
Yeah, so far so good. These guys are also adjusting to the wind conditions, and you could tell he's trying to overcook it. Being that it probably is his first one, there's probably a little bit more pressure on him. He's putting a little bit too much energy into it, and you could tell it results in mistakes. So I think this part is the most important part of the track for the men when it comes to time trial. You can cut so much of the track off, but so far not the best front, but at least he can, you know, finish the lap off strong here.
To me, that third straightaway for him looked good, but are you able to decipher it as, you know, using your racer vision? I mean, what would you say it was a good straightaway, or it was okay, but you could have, not you, but someone else could have, I mean, probably you too, but done a little bit better.
I mean, I think he was so frustrated after his first straightaway that he didn't have it the best lap. He could tell he was frustrated and wasn't getting the corners where he wanted to. So I wouldn't consider that to be his best lap, but obviously he's on to the race tomorrow.
So next up, number 15 in our run of 16 riders here, Jelle van Gorkum from here in Papendal. Won this race just 2 years ago, and a great weekend for him. That was capped off by that victory in the final. Today he's in here for the Superfinal. Definitely one of those guys, super competitive. Definitely wants to do good in front of his fans out here. We'll see how things go as he's lined up in the gate for his Superfinal time trial. So his riding style, Mike?
Phew, that was about as perfect as you can. You could tell he's local. He's carving the first corner much lower than the berm allows you to. And this is the most important part of the track, where I would assume the guys at the top of the hill are kind of watching the Dutch guys go through here. Such an important, kind of awkward spot of the track where you still need to carry speed, but it's slightly uphill and it's kind of weird. And Jelly kind of just had a perfect lap so far. So see if he can finish it off.
Strong run to the line.
Yeah.
He's going to come across, knocking a full second off of David Graf's time. Jelle van Gorkum will move himself into the hot seat here. And as Mike said, pretty good lap. But I think I've seen some faster times here, but still, I mean, the wind's going to play a factor into that. But definitely a good way to get a good lap in there. You know, like I said, these guys, this is their first competitive run for the day. They've only been able to get on course for the Superfinals. So next up, a youngster, just 22 years old, Alfredo Campo, past junior world champion. He's made his way into these Superfinals, I believe, for the first time as well. Another one of those guys, Mike, that you said, the riders with that with a tall physique may have an advantage here, as you do, to be able to get your way around the track and really, work it. So let's see how Alfredo is able to get around the track here in Papendal.
Yeah, so far it looks really smooth. You can tell he went to the inside gate. He's going a bit high in the first corner from what Jelly did, we could tell. But Alfredo's super smooth. You can tell he gets every single backside exactly where you want to land. And he hit that straightaway, that weird S-berm with some great exit speed. So this is the straightaway where he excels at. Look for him to put in some little bit of time on Jelly here.
Yeah, right there, he had the fastest time. Let's see how things work out as he comes to the line. He's lost a little bit of speed coming through there. Just a little bit of bobble through the end of that third straightaway. Just takes him off the mark. So Alfredo Campo is going to be second today for that finish, but as you said, Jelle Van Gorkum had himself a really good run. Let's get a word in from Jelle and see how he feels his run went for him today.
Jelle, you kept asking how you did. You didn't know what your time was because this is not usual for you. You don't even usually ride when it's this windy. How do you think you did?
I had a decent lap. I mean, I had some bubbles on the first and on the third straight, but overall I kept it together, stayed on my bike, and I'm in for tomorrow's show, and that's what matters.
Well, that's awesome. Do you have some friends and family in the stands?
Oh yeah, for sure. So many VIPs, so many stands, but the rest will be there tomorrow.
Great. So say hi to your fans.
Yo, what up?
So Jelle Van Gorkum comfortable in that seat, but he knows he just wants to be in the big show tomorrow. That's when things will go on the line. Next up, it's going to be Carlos Aquindo, your medalist in 2012 for third place at the Olympic Games. 7th year on the Supercross Tour, Mike. I think he outs you by 1. He runs for 6, right?
What?
How many years did you race on the Supercross circuit?
I think 6 or 7.
Yeah, see? Got some stats.
I like how he's picking lane 2, which looked like that's been the most inside so far.
If you were to pick, what gate would you be in?
I'd be in 2 or 3. Just given the fact on how wide open the corner is and it's asphalt, so you can hold your tire anywhere. I mean, we used to pick lane 6 to have a good carve around the corner and carry as much speed, but with these turns being so big, I mean, you can literally go as far inside as you can and hold. So pretty good to see him on the inside. It's been a smooth lap, but doesn't look like anything that's going to kind of rival Jelle. He's just been kind of smooth and consistent.
Yeah, right now he looks to be third fastest around the track. As he gets to the line, will he be able to make up some power and some time? He does. He moves up to that second place spot, and he's not that far off. But it did look like a good lap, but it looked like he was really...
he played it safe.
Yeah.
He didn't take any chances, and a lot of these guys, I mean, obviously they want to win this, but they don't need to take that extra pedal to cause a crash.
The guy who's really going to go all out, as he usually does in the Superfinal time trials, that'll be Mark Willers, number 777.
I think this is his most favorite lap of the weekend.
Mark is well known not to be a fan of those time trials, but he's definitely a fan of doing well, and he's done that in the past. A lot of great results from Mark. Injury last year plagued him from doing well, but he's definitely on the comeback trail. Rode well in Manchester, and you can see right there, he has the fastest speed at that speed trap set at the bottom of the ramp.
And in true Willers fashion, he pulls the brake, acting like his bike's broke when it's not. I'm just kidding. It might be broke.
Yeah, so Mark Willers.
He's avoiding the fine and acting like his bike is broke.
Oh, it looks like he missed the track, too.
Yeah.
Went the wrong way. But again, these riders are all pre-qualified into tomorrow's event. That's all, goes by the result from each race. After this one, it'll be jumbled up with the points tallied together. But yeah, Mark Willers, not a fan of the Superfinal, but a fan of the final, and he definitely wants to be there tomorrow. And we'll see him racing head-to-head.
Also a past winner here in Papendal. I think 2011 was it?
Yeah,
12?
definitely had a good run. He's going to look to rekindle that feeling of winning the championship. But right now comes across the line in 46th place.
Oh, weird. His bike seems to be working just fine as he pedals up the hill.
I think it got fixed. He stopped at the repair zone. Next up, a guy that's kind of tried to get in your footsteps of time trial victories.
Oh, he's passed me up.
Connor Fields, 2-time time trial world champion. Didn't have the weekend he was looking for, definitely in Manchester, but he really likes this track. He's actually never done really well here in the race. He's won the time trial here multiple times, but he wants to move on and win in that final. So right now, Connor Fields from the United States of America loaded in the gate. We'll see how things go, and we'll let Mike decipher his run here in Papendal.
So far, so good. I mean, Connor's one to be overly aggressive on the pedals. You can see how low he goes into the first corner. Jumping the first one to a pedal manual, which I'm not quite sure is the most efficient way, but obviously Connor is unreal on his bike. So coming into the rhythm section where he excels, looks like he has the green helmet so far.
Yeah, going into that last turn, looks like Connor still has that fast lap going. A lot of flow from his bike moving from side to side. I don't know if that really helps, but it definitely helped him knock some time off of Jelle Van Gorkum's time. Connor will get 37.9. That will be the fastest man around the track so far, but we still have 10 other riders to go. But definitely a good way to kick things off from Connor Fields to get that good time in early.
I don't think he was really feeling sitting with the cow. He's out.
Needs to get a little bit of cool down because he put the power down on the ground. And the fans are chasing him right back to the hot seat. So good run from Connor. Has his team manager there, Mr. Jamie Staff from the United States. Get him his cool down post. But next up, we'll go with Kyle Evans. Good run for him in Manchester. Again, not what he wanted. He definitely wanted to do better than, just a semifinal. But Kyle's been riding really strong, riding there with Liam Phillips, getting a lot of good results in. And we'll see how Kyle is able to do against Connor. Connor was second fastest in Manchester, just behind the eventual winner of Liam Phillips. But right there.
Clips out down the hill, and that's...
Did he get the Mark
done.
Willard's disease?
Yeah. I don't think he's faking it.
Yeah, so definitely not the way you want to start things off on clipping anytime, but it's especially in that time trial. But again, he wants to use this lap to learn, how the track is, how he's feeling on the track, and if he's going to be able to make up any time, how much more if he has to ride over the edge to do so, and see how things go out for him. So Kyle Evans, definitely not the way he wanted his time trial to go. But, he made it across the line. He's safe. He's got the 6th fastest time. And that will be it for him as he comes across. But let's get a word from our current leader, Connor Fields, number 11 from the US of A, and see how he feels his lap went for him.
So, Connor, you're in the hot seat. You did amazing. You do always well in the time trials. How's it out there?
Yeah, I'm probably not the first person to tell you this, but it's definitely a little windy out there, and it's a tough track, so, you got to stay, super focused out there today.
Is it dangerous?
I mean, BMX is always dangerous.
I love it. Thanks, Connor.
So Connor sitting back and seeing if anyone can knock him out of the hot seat. Like I said, he sat there a long time in Manchester, only to be beaten out by the last person. And right now, what could be playing into his favor is it just started to rain a little bit. So I'm not sure. We see some rain on our...
Always the greatest feeling when you're on the gate and it just starts pouring rain, especially on a Supercross hill.
So we'll get ready as Damien Godet from France, number 69, is in that gate with the rain coming. They got grip tape on that hill, but still, those turns, Mike, you definitely don't want to be two-wheel drifting and any of this asphalt, as they love to say here in the Europe.
Yeah, it poured here last year, and the corners held up actually quite nice from what all the riders were saying to me earlier. But, I mean, just not a good feeling. You practiced all day yesterday. You did your warm-up, and it's dry. I mean, obviously windy, but dry, and now all of a sudden it starts coming down. So definitely going to play into your head a little bit. Godet taking a few different lines. You see on the first jump he manualed the whole thing, where a lot of the guys are jump manualing. But he's French, and they always have a bit more skills than the rest of us. So solid lap, not bad for the conditions, and on to the show tomorrow.
You'll probably see a lot of riders, play it safe here, because other than gate pick, these Superfinals don't give you a lot of advantage.
I mean, all these guys either have the first or second pick for tomorrow, so it's not like you're going to have a bad lap and all of a sudden be in lane 8. So not the hugest lap for these guys, but it's a good way to build a little confidence for tomorrow.
A guy that's always got confidence on his side is anyone that's wearing that rainbow striped jersey, and Sam Willoughby, number 1, indicates that. He is your current world champion, and he's lined up on the gate. He was the winner here last year in wet conditions, so he may use that in his mind to say, you know what, I remember last year how fast I went around this track. He won that race. Let's see how he works out in his time trial when he gets the green helmet in turn number 1.
Yeah, that was about as perfect of a first straight as you can get, and this guy's known for hole shotting 90% of the time. So it doesn't surprise me that he has the green helmet. That line right there behind the hill is a huge corner when it comes to time trial, and he took what I feel would be the slower line, obviously probably doing it because of the wet conditions. So I'm thinking Connor probably put a little bit of time in him on that one corner.
Yeah, he was 3/10 a second off, and he'll wind up, still about 3/10 of a second off Connor's time. Sam goes by. He knows that Connor, like I said, the conditions alone, as for someone myself, I would, be very hesitant. But I know you guys want to always go all out. Someone who definitely wants to go all out is Twan Von Gent. He's been a past winner of the Supercross series. He's also been out here really strong in front of his hometown crowd. But right now, these conditions don't favor anyone. And I'm sure no one ever, no matter what the training regimen is, nobody wants to go up and ride in the rain. But
yeah, and Twan, like Mark Wheeler, as we talked about earlier, much better racer than a time trial. He likes getting elbow to elbow and really, hammering down with 8 guys. So by himself, it's never been his strong suit, but given that it's his home track, I'm sure he wants to put a solid one together here.
Yeah, coming out of turn number 1, he's going to be 3rd fastest so far. And if anyone's going to have this section of track down pretty good, it's going to be Twan.
Yeah, definitely you could tell he's kind of a bit out of shape. So you could tell a lot of the guys in the time trial almost push it over the level that they can. And oh no. Oh, is he all right?
Definitely, as you said, those guys sometimes over push it, and right there, over jumping, and that 3rd straightaway is definitely dangerous. He came up, rode that front wheel, basically face into that section, and it's definitely not a place where you want to have that kind of injury. It looks like he is definitely out of wind, but
oh, that was nasty.
So it's one of those things, Mike, like you said, sometimes these guys not necessarily ride over their head, but they're in that situation where those guys don't want to be, going that fast through that straightaway, and you get at least a little bit out of control, and there's nothing you can really do. It happens. Everything comes up so fast.
Yeah, that looked super rough for Twan. It looks like he's slowly starting to get himself up, but just slamming into that lip to roll over, just kind of brutal. I didn't even see it. I had to turn my head away, but hopefully he's all right and good for tomorrow, because like we talked about, he's a much better racer than a time trialist. So sending good vibes for Twan right now.
So next up, it's going to be from the UK, Trey White. He made his way into that final in Manchester. 6th place was his result, and Trey, 3rd place at those World Championship last year. He's another guy that definitely wants to go out and have a good run. But as you said, Mike, sometimes riding over your head a little bit is definitely not what you want to do. And we said there's that fine line of riding the edge and above the edge to try to get out there and do well. And unfortunately, sometimes riding over the edge can be very costly.
Yeah, it looks like Twan's walking it off now. So hopefully good to go for tomorrow, but definitely walking a bit ginger at the moment.
But when you're going out full out, Mike, on a lap, and you come to such an abrupt crash and lose all your breath, sometimes it takes a while for you to collect yourself, even to know if you're injured or you just took all the breath out of yourself.
Yeah, I mean crashing is one thing on these tracks, but when you crash right into a lip like Twan did, it's the worst. It's the worst feeling. And then obviously you're out of breath. All these people are asking you if you're all right. So good to see him walking off the track after that thing. That didn't look good, but slowly making his way past the fans.
So Trey White from Great Britain deciding his rather just roll around the track.
And I mean, he had a crash earlier today, so I'm not sure if this is from his crash. He fell super hard right there in practice this morning. So given the fact that he's already crashed, sitting on the gate watching Twan just completely grenade as well. So, I mean, I'm not sure if that's – I hope he's not hurt for tomorrow, but just given the fact of his day so far and then seeing Twan, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't have the best of thoughts going into the lap.
So, yeah, just being able, mentally having a crash and then getting into these really adverse conditions, it's sometimes where it's just better off to just pull the plug.
Yeah, not even that. It's you see a crash, you've already crashed, and all of a sudden it starts pouring rain. Just nothing's really working for you. So waving the white flag might be good for him, and he's already qualified in for the race tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see if that's his game plan, or I hope he's not hurt from that crash earlier today.
So next up, from France, number 33, Joris Dode, 5th place in Manchester. He won the time trial here last year, So he knows his fast way around this track as well, and he's super smooth, good rider. Talk us through his lap, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him in practice, and he looked like the guy to beat so far when I was watching. And, I start talking good about him. He starts over jumping stuff. So he's looks like he's waved the white flag, but, man, did he look good in practice this morning. So the rain might have kind of messed up with him a little bit as he's walking up the hill, but he's just kind of playing it safe and going to ride it in. But look for him to be a main guy for tomorrow's podium spots.
Yeah, so Joris has been one of those guys that said last year in those adverse conditions as well, he went out, got that fastest time at the end of the day. Right now he's going to be not where he wants to be in 8th place overall, but he is up, he's healthy, and he's looking forward to tomorrow's racing. Right there you see Connor Fields, current leader in today's Superfinal time trial. So next up from Latvia, 4th place in Manchester, it's going to be Edzis Tremanis, just off the podium there. And today, last year he actually had the quickest time in the final. This is a little trivia. But he didn't have his transponder on, and that's a violation of rules. And so he was disqualified. His transponder
in his time trial wasn't on.
Yeah.
That's a rookie move, huh?
Yes. But right now, Edzis.
You could see, watching him, he's totally different style than Connor. Connor kind of throws the bike around and kind of dances with it, where Tremanis is just very, straightforward. I'm going to get my front wheel to the landing, hopefully smooth, which is pretty fun to watch. I mean, kind of reminds me of, like Kyle back in the day, where he was just more fluid and straight rather than throwing the bike completely everywhere. But Tremanis, pretty solid lap for given the conditions.
Yeah, comes through with that 6th fastest time. So right now it's Fields with the fastest time, Willoughby in 2nd, Yeli Van Gorkum in 3rd, Carlos Oquindo in 4th, Alfredo Campo in 5th, and then Edzis Tremanis just came through with the 6th place time. So now we're up to our podium makers in Manchester, and if anyone can beat Connor Fields' time, it's going to be one of these 3 riders. Otherwise, it's going to be his title to take for the day. But Nick Long,
the mustache man,
the fun hipster, national champion of the US of A, Nick Long, definitely one of our favorite guys on the tour, in the gate, getting ready for his time trial.
If you guys look at Nick's bike, he runs what has to be the longest bike, and out of any of these guys, he's got him by probably an inch. His rear end is crazy long where it hangs up right there. So definitely Nick's also one of the guys that prefers racing. He's not so much into the time trial thing. So a bad lap, you can tell the rain's kind of fogging up his goggles a little bit. But he always comes through when it counts. When it comes to the semis and mains, he's one to put it together. He's got a great start. His first straightaway is usually one of the best, so look for him to be up in the mix tomorrow.
Yeah, Nick's one of those guys that really focuses on the gate starts and riding portion of his training. He says he gets to the gym when he can. I'm not sure how. I mean, I think any of these top guys really need it, but Nick's one of those guys that surpasses the pure power part for how well he rides a bike. And I said, as he focuses a lot on his first straightaway, he also was able to overcome adversity in Manchester, where he crashed in his first moto in the qualifying, and then came back to get that second place finish, or third place finish, in that final. You see all there, like Mike said, those rocks thrown up, stuff sometimes gets in your goggles, and that's going to be something that really just throws you off your game. But right now, the guy on top of his game, even doing tricks in the pits, riding backwards cool down, is Connor Fields. So next up, a young rider, Edu Mir from France. Big surprise in Manchester with that second place finish. He was put himself in the position to get there. He's definitely rode strong. Winner of one of the Euro rounds so far. Definitely, he's been on the podium a bunch of times, and he's lined up in the gate for today's Superfinal time trial. Just 2 riders left. Will either of them be able to knock Connor Fields out of the top spot? We'll see here as these riders are lined up for their chance to do so.
Down the front straightaway so far, picture perfect into the first corner. Takes a tight low line even with a little bit of rain. So see if he can kind of smooth it out and take that inside line that we've been talking about through this crossover jump.
So Amidou definitely has that good riding style. Pretty consistent the way he rides. He's Not the flashiest of riders, but he's definitely one of the fastest riders. And right there, it looks pretty smooth through this third straightaway, Mike.
Yeah, everything looks good. I'm sure it's not what he wanted. It looked a little bit safe. He didn't take much chances, but given the light rain and the wind, he's safe. He's ready to race tomorrow, and a pretty solid lap.
So he comes across the line with the 9th fastest time. So now it's just the same scenario that we had in Manchester. It's going to be one man versus the other for the overall victory in the time trial. If anyone can beat Connor Fields out, it's going to be the winner of stop number 1 in both the Superfinal and the time trial, or the Superfinal and the main event. Liam Phillips, number 65 from Great Britain, definitely said his goal this year is to win on a big outdoor supercross track, and this is the track to me that fits the bill for that description. So Liam's lined up on the gate. He's got some monster gear on, like a 51-tooth sprocket, so we'll see. I don't know what he's running in the back, but we'll see if that horsepower gets put down. You see he has the fastest speed at the bottom of the ramp, but it's about the finish line time that's going to count. Red helmet. Right now he sits 4th overall out of sector number 1, Mike.
Yeah, it seems, I mean, if I could be wrong, but his bike in practice was red, so I'm not quite sure if GB has a time trial bike, but it sounds like something that they would do. But Liam, like always, just he's just real fluid, not overly flashy, just kind of gets the job done. And so far, a good lap, sitting in 2nd as of right now. We'll see if he can kind of pull up on Connor.
Yeah, he's right at that 2nd place time. As he comes across the line, no, he's just off that time by just less than 1/100th of a second. But this time, Connor Fields edges out Liam Phillips for that overall win. So today's victor in that Superfinal time trial will be Connor Fields from the United States of America. Definitely the way he wanted to start out a weekend. He's done it before in the past. He wants to make it all the way through that same great riding style throughout the weekend. But right now it's about that Superfinal time trial. Connor Fields from the United States.
Time trials seem to be really easy for you, and of course you have the fastest lap that we've seen here in Papendal. How does it make you feel?
I mean, it's not that they're easy. I work really hard. I have a great team around me, and I can't thank them enough. USA Cycling, PH Sauce, my family, David Berger, all those guys around me. They're the ones who make it easy for me.
Well, definitely all eyes are going to be on you tomorrow. Congratulations, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. See you then.
All right, so today's winner in the Elite Men's Division of the Superfinal, Connor Fields, keeps that tradition going, but he definitely wants to have that same kind of victorious run tomorrow during the race.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise that Connor wins. He seems to win these fairly regularly now, but I think the pressure's on tomorrow. I mean, it's starting to get down to that Olympic push and kind of starting to get the ball rolling towards the ultimate goal. So tomorrow is the big step in that direction.
So there you see the top 8 results from today. Connor Fields edges out Liam Phillips this time. Sam Willoughby's in that 3rd place spot. And just as we finish, the rains come down. The weather conditions for tomorrow are supposed to be a little bit different from today. Sun, not as much wind, and we'll definitely appreciate that because if you remember last year's race, it started raining in the morning and it never stopped. We had a lot of holds on the course. Right now, this track could use some water, so this is the perfect time for a little bit of rain. We've got a long time before racing tomorrow, Mike. But as hot as that racing is going to be, the track's going to dry out in quite a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched it last year, it poured rain, and these guys were still able to race safely. So, I mean, they were watering the track earlier, so, I mean, it could use a little bit of rain with the limestone. I mean, I think we're in for a good show tomorrow.
So in that women's class, remember, it was Mariana Pajón taking the victory. Connor Fields taking the time trial victory as well. They both did that at the same time. I believe it was in 2013. They were both the winners of the time trials together. They both went on to be in the final. And Mariana went on to win. Connor wasn't, unfortunately. But, times are changing. Definitely, talking to Connor earlier, he wants to make a statement in that main event. He's always had a great run here, but never really done well in the main event. And, like I said, Liam Phillips wants to win. Every one of those riders that lines up in the gate tomorrow wants to have that win, but there's a few that really have the chance to get it. Mike, what's it like to feel like when you have that ability, in the back of your mind you can win a race, but you need to get into that final first?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the the quarter was always the hardest race. You know, you go through your motos, you feel how the track's racing, you're kind of getting to the zone a little bit, and then all of a sudden you get to a single elimination. So after you get through the quarter, you start building a little confidence. You have a good semi-lap, and then in the main, I mean, you don't have really nothing to lose. So I obviously expect Connor to be in there. He's in pretty good form. He won the last couple races back at home, so I'm thinking that he'll give these guys a little run for their money, along with the regulars, you know, Sam and Maris, and my pick earlier was Joris. But I'm hoping that the local boy, Tuan, is able to race. We saw him walk by earlier, and he was kind of limping and kind of struggling a little bit, but hopefully a little recovery tonight, and he'll be in there tomorrow.
So you see the schedule for tomorrow. We go live from the quarterfinals on. So we'll be getting you all of the action live. We have that 90-minute show tomorrow, worldwide TV. Mike, are you ready for it?
I hope so.
I hope so too. So we're going to have that, all of you live from, we're not going to show the 8th finals. We're going to give you a recap, bring you up to date on those motos qualifiers for the men, and then bring you all of the live show from those quarterfinals on all the way to the podium presentation. And I believe now we're waiting for the podium presentation for today's winners of those superfinals. But Mike, when you had come through and won a time trial, how good did it make you feel, and how ready to race for the next day?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best feeling. Obviously, you put in a lot of work, and I mean, the time trials like today, they're not the most important things, and they don't mean as much as the race tomorrow. But I think the most important thing is it makes you your confidence, and you build a little bit of, you know, confidence going into the race day. You can sleep well. You're not nervous. You know you're riding well, and it brings good energy. And I think, I mean, obviously a lot of this is mental, like we talked about, and if you can bring, you know, good energy, sleep well, riding well, I mean, you're up for a good day tomorrow.
Someone from the outside looking in said you're just mental to do this, but you're talking about the mental fortitude of being able to will over matter.
To turn it on.
So as we get ready to have the winners of today's Superfinals make their way over to the Red Bull Podium Arena, I'd like to give a big thanks to all of our fans, all of our sponsors. And Mike, great day for you here on the Supercross. Take your takeaway from the day so far.
Weather's going to be a huge issue, which it always is. The track is a little bit bigger. Obviously, these guys got to change, you know, their race tactics compared to Manchester, where this is just a completely different, you know, setup and style of racetrack. So, obviously, a little bit different game plans and strategy, but all in all, the same guys will be fighting for the semis and finals, and, you know, should be a good day.
So here we go with the winner of today's Elite Women's Superfinal from Colombia, Mariana Pajon.
Mr. Joachim Schellitz from the Papendal Hotel and Olympic Training Center handing over the prizes today. And Mariana can be very, very chuffed with that. You'll see the flowers and, of course, the all-important clog from Holland. Let's get them together for a photograph. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Joachim.
Okay, so Mariana Pajon, fastest woman today, Mike. Definitely, like you said, a lot of it seems in the women's class you have a lot more of those riders. They all go for it in their time trials. Yes, it wasn't raining at their time, but some of these men played a little safer. But right there, Mariana always wanted to have a perfect lap. She was looking for it, and it looked like she got it right there.
Yeah, it was unreal lap. She's the only one that didn't look timid by the conditions out there.
Yeah, she was the only. She was in the 36-second range, and second place was 38 seconds. So she had a pretty good run there. So an elite man who was Connor Fields from United States of America, taking today's Superfinal time trial win. Doing it for a few of the sponsors of our tour, Chase Bicycles and Tioga Tires. They're definitely excited to see it, as well as all the fans from around the world, especially the ones from the US of A. Connor Fields wins the Wooden Shoe Award for the fastest guy on the track today here in Papendal. Trophy girls making their way up to the stage. That's all I have to say about that.
Congratulations.
So Connor Fields, Mariana Pajon, your winners today of the time trials, the Superfinals here for the first day of racing at stop number 2 on the UCI BMX World Cup Tour. Action-packed. We got 3 more stops after this, but tomorrow, Mike, it's all that 8 rider at a time on the track racing. It's going to make for a lot different ways to see. You know, we saw it earlier today. We had some of those riders that were trying to qualify their way through, and then we had the riders that are pre-qualified. Tomorrow's where it's really going to go all out.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of the fast guys that should be racing tomorrow that, you know, kind of had some issues. So tomorrow, head-to-head, eight deep on this big track, it's gonna get pretty wild, I have a feeling.
So there are your winners with their fancy wooden shoes. Connor Fields, Mariana Pahon, both winners of today's Superfinal Stop 2. As we said, tomorrow we'll have all the racing live from those quarterfinals on. Make sure you tune in to see what's going on track. But we thank you so much for tuning in for today's show. Mike, great job.
Thanks, Pete.
So we'll get ready. A couple things coming up just for tomorrow. Like I said, those finals be incredible to watch, and there was your podium for today. So from myself, Pete Deluski, and Mike Day, excellent job. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to having you all check in tomorrow for those finals. Thanks so much for joining us today at stop number 2 of the UCI BMX Supercross World Cup Tour in Papendal, the Holland, the Netherlands. Pick one. And that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow.
From the shores of the Caspian Sea, in the ancient land of Azerbaijan, rises the first European Games. Be part of sporting history in Baku this June. The European Games, Baku 2015, rise to the occasion.
They made me take my jacket off when I was on the course. Yeah. I was like, well, I should change it really.